UGA game day, boy, we ball out. Pull up, put the whole conference in the doghouse. Leave them 6 feet, see me on the win streak. All-star status, go coach, and the bench deep. Offense on 10, how we run it? Your best ain't nothing, we gon' send them boys punting. Black and red, got them dead on arrival. Defense hunkered down for the tie. Hey, you don't want it with the dogs. Found guy on it, you don't want it with my dog. Break it down, play by play, that's the day-to-day. They know we ain't come to play, boy, it's UGA. Kirby smart, I cannot play the fool. Back to back, we did not come to lose. Back to back, like we got something to prove. Pay your dues, dog nation on the move. What's up?
We do a little bit different around here.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Shut up. Let's grind.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The
Shut up
tape.
and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape,
The
bro.
tape.
Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape.
Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up. The tape.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
Your show notes. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to the Film Guy Network on a fabulous Tuesday evening. It is a loaded show. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't think there's any. I think it's gonna be well over 2 hours. I think there's multiple 30-minute blocks within this show sheet that we got for you. I always know when I got 8 or 9 pages sitting right here and half or one of those 30-minute segments ain't even on the notes. It's going to be a long one. Buckle up. It is close to football season, which means, as always, we got a loaded show for you guys. I got special intel on an SEC roster coming for you guys today. A lot of intel about quarterback battles, what's going on offensive line-wise. Spoke to a couple people today. I want to bring that forth to you guys because I think it's important. A lot of listeners today going to not only maybe be fans of this football team, but you're going to be playing this football team this year as well. Going to take a look under the hood out there with the USC Trojans. What does a year that is successful, what does a successful year look like for USC? I told Christian this today, and I want to talk about this before we get to the segment. Is USC the only program in the world that everybody enjoys kind of rooting against? Or at least enjoys us talking about how they may or may not be not where they're supposed to be?
No.
No?
No. No way.
Are they the only program that fits that model where their fan base isn't rabid enough to come hunt you down after you say something like that?
Yes. That's more like
That's what we were getting at. So yeah, we got a loaded show for you guys. We got a way too early preview, as you can tell by the title of today's show, for week 1. But I want to open tonight's show with asking the audience this. Do you guys remember me coming to the microphone a couple months back and be like, you know what? I am about to start rooting for the downfall of Texas Tech. I am tired of it. I'm tired of all the stories. I'm tired of I've reached I've gone off the cliff. I've gone off the deep end here. I'm off the end. And I'm going to be honest with you. It wasn't just the constant media plants this offseason about their exhaustive spending attempts on their roster and all the additions that they made and all the players that they bought out of the portal. It wasn't just them parading the billionaire booster, not only up to the White House, but to Big 12 Media Day as well. And, I followed that guy, or that guy followed me, my man Cody Campbell. He followed me on a radio hit the other day. Like, it's a well-spoken guy. He's out here all doing the media run. It's not just that. It's not just the fact that they paid $1 million for, like, the best softball player in the world, too. It wasn't them, or it's not just them on the doorsteps of landing with Damian Guyton as well. But the latest article and the most recent quotes from their general manager, James Blanchard, have just kind of sent me over the cliff, and I'm kind of I'm old man on the front porch here. Quote, if somebody is underpaying an elite guy, only paying him $100,000 to $200,000, I'm going to go give that guy $300,000 to $400,000 and go steal somebody. That's the general manager, again, James Blanchard of Texas Tech. And I'm perplexed because I really want to go on this long, elaborate rant about how, man, college sports is ruined. Man, this is the Yankees. Where's the salary cap? Yada, yada, yada. I'm the same guy that stands on this microphone all the time, okay? Stands up on this show all the time and is like, man, I wish Steve Sarkisian would stop talking about all this culture stuff and just admit he's able to buy players. That's why they're recruiting as well as they are. And now I'm being the guy that's mad about Texas Tech just rubbing it in our face. So for the first time in my career, I think I'm pivoting. I'm going to chop these whole notes up. I think I'm pivoting, Jonathan. Christian, I have this long, elaborate rant about how Texas Tech is ruining college football, but I'm switching it up. Good on them. At least they're saying it like, I got money. I'm going to go out and buy all your players. Screw all of you. We're just going to do it. I'm just going to buy everybody because I can, apparently, because I guess they can. They can?
Yeah,
they can pay whatever they want.
I don't know if everybody's an accurate statement that they're buying. They're getting more players than they ever would have in a traditional era of college football. But the idea that Texas Tech just bought its way to a number one recruiting class is a little bit far-fetched. They got one really good player. They've gotten, all right, they sprinkled 5 stars here and there, more than usual.
Here's what my real question is, okay? Because this is what they're telling us. This is what this staff has told the media, okay? This Texas Tech staff. This is not my reporting. This is them telling us. All right? They told ESPN they spent $18 million in the transfer winter window, correct? Mm-hmm. That's what they told us. $18 million. We know they spent $1 million on a softball player, $19 million. Okay? We know they're going out and buying additional players in the spring window. Okay? That's like 21 players. Okay? One of which is a softball player. We won't have to talk about her, but she's $1 million on a rev share model. Again, that we're all supposed to be told that we're going to. That's why it's so confusing to me. That's why I'm scratching my brain here. Good on them. Again, if nobody's going to stop you from doing this, I'm just very, very confused as a person who covers the sport, how this is able to happen. And everybody that's in the sport tells me, well, they have a billionaire and he's connected to enough companies that he can just filter the money out to all of them and have all these real marketable deals pass through NIL Go.
Is NIL Go enforcing things right now? Is that,
dude? How are we to assume we're all playing on a level playing field or moving towards a level playing field when he's saying, "Oh, you're offering $200,000 for your good players? Don't worry, I'm gonna swoop in and offer all of them double that."
My question is like, how
also again being over this 20 and a half, obviously, clearly they've told us they are.
How does NIL Go how do they police high school recruits? Like, how do they police those types of deals? Because, like, when you're in high school and you're talking to a program, they're telling you what they will pay you. Mm-hmm. That's what that player is committing to. Like, okay, you are set to pay me this amount of money. So the NIL Go isn't policing that. So Texas Tech can, by all means, say, we'll give you $1.4 million when you get here. And then, like, they have enough time to, like, so, like, stopping programs from getting players to commit because they have the best deal. I don't know that there is anything you can do about that.
Also, educate me on this.
Yeah.
Can Texas players, do they have the same laws as like Missouri does where you can pay high school players essentially?
Yeah, but again, like, we're all led to assume that all of that interstate law is about to get removed. We're about to have one universal legislation.
about to and have.
My big question, what my big concern is why Cody Campbell, the billionaire, is able to do this and able to singly source and fund this, okay? But we're not allowed to crowdsource at other universities, right? We're not allowed to just band together collectives, okay? Because I'm pretty sure an entire fan base at Georgia got a bunch of emails about them shutting down their collective because it's not passing through NIL Go because it's pay for play. But the billionaire can do it because he's just powerful enough to do it.
It's a great question, and I don't have the answer for you, but it's rather interesting. I'm not
mad. I think that I'm confused.
Yeah.
The chat thinks I'm mad. I'm not mad. I'm confused. My question is how. Because again, if one billionaire is able to do this, you don't think enough Ohio State fans are adamant enough about their program that they could go crowdfund a really expensive roster? I just watched them do it. Now their boards are telling their fan bases that they're pinned up on a salary cap. Everyone else is playing under a presumed rules that we have to get underneath it. We just had Auburn's head coach tell his whole entire fan base that there's rules coming. We got people preparing for rules and one GM saying, we'll just go in and pay everybody double. I'm just confused. That's it. I'm not mad. I'm just confused as someone who covers this sport.
It is definitely confusing. And I would say don't always believe everything coaches are telling you, because some coaches are saying, oh, we're up against a salary cap. We're spending very big the last few years. And, we're following the rules. We're doing this the right way. Everyone else is not doing it the right way. I think that's a little tongue in cheek. So it's definitely confusing.
Kirby, Ohio State has lost a lot of really, really big recruiting battles this spring and this summer because of price tags.
Yep.
And they're really, really plugged in beat reporters are telling their fans till they're blue in the face, it's because they're preparing to get under a salary cap.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Ohio State not have one of the most expensive rosters in college football last season?
They did. But that was under a crowdsourced model. Again, they would do that every single year if there wasn't regulation coming.
Is that what
that's what I'm getting at.
Is that what that is, though? Or is that, hey, we just pushed all of our chips in on 2024. We're going to have to back off a little bit in 25.
Why wouldn't they do it again?
Because if you push all your chips in.
No. It's crowdsourced. You just super PAC. You run it back.
I get that, but I don't know.
Because you're that big of a program. That's the only thing is I'm just confused, and I think that's
I think it's okay to be mad at confusion. You don't have to be mad at what Texas Tech is doing, but it's okay to be mad about the confusion of all of this, because that's been my whole point of this. Is I'm not mad at Texas Tech paying players. I'm not mad at what Texas has done in this recruiting class or anything like that. I'm mad at. We are still confused. We have still continued to be led astray. Like, I still feel like I have no idea what is actually happening today, other than no changes happened, even though we spent the last 6 months talking about, and other people talking about how change is coming, rules are being put into place on this date. By the next recruiting class, everything's going to be okay. None of that has happened. That's what I'm mad about. I'm mad about the confusion of all this.
And all we want is consistency. And the only thing that's been consistent is the confusion. That's it. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, and rate, review, and all that good stuff. I'll get off of my rant right there. Now, I am, speaking of confusion, did y'all see that there's apparently a players union? Something that we said was impossible to create.
Yeah.
I still think it's impossible to create.
We saw this and it was kind of like...
I'm going to tell you what, athletes.org. Y'all audience, you do your research and you figure out if this is a real thing. Every one of these NIL companies, every one of these agencies, every one of these companies that's been attached to name, image, and likeness that have popped up in the last 3 or 4 years, their about page on their internet, website, their homepage is the most confused, filled with jargon. You can't figure out what these companies are. Now, this athletes.org company apparently is acting as the College Football Players Association, so much so that they met with 23 Power 5 GMs, Power 4 GMs. I can confirm today, live on the air, Georgia was one of them. Georgia was in attendance this week in Nashville, obviously at the Players Symposium, but they sat in on this supposed 5-hour meeting with this company, okay, that is apparently a players union for college football. Now, I have always been of the belief, and I think you two on this stage are as well, a college football players union would be about the weakest union to ever exist. Okay? The strongest unions in the world are in the actual labor force, right? Our folks that are out here with the, that are what do you call it? Welders unions, right? Your electricians union. Those folks have really strong unions because their entire union base that they represent is ranging from a salary base of anywhere from like $20 an hour to like $68, $70 an hour on its highest ends. We're talking about median level incomes. The body of people that college football unions would represent is about 14,000 players. 134 teams times 105 athletes. 14,000 players, of which, by the way, range in median of income from $0, guys who are playing for the love of the game at Bowling Green, to my man Arch Manning, who's about to make $11 million. Oh, also, by the way, 3.5 years, they're set to cycle out. You're going to have a whole bunch of them. Oh, also, median age range, 17 to 24. You think that union ain't going to get boxed in every single debate that they ever have with Power 4 general managers?
It certainly would propose it's probably going to be one of the weaker unions you see. Again, I don't necessarily know. And even the leverage that they would have of, we're going on strike, well, it's... Again,
also this union that apparently exists claims to have 4,000 athletes that they represent. So they're already representing a quarter of the sport, right?
A little less.
Yeah, a little more than a quarter. 4,000 is a quarter of 16,000. So they have a lot of they're representing a lot of the student body. I just don't know how strong the union is.
I mean, considering it's the first I've heard of the official union like being a thing, I would say it's probably not that strong. So,
take a peek around the website. It's interesting. I can't figure out any of these companies. Like the company that paid $15 million to stream Texas A&M softball. I don't get them either. They're apparently worth $500 million. So I don't. Either way. Where should we go next? Y'all want to learn about Tennessee?
Sure.
Yeah.
So Tennessee been like filled with drama, it feels like, this offseason.
Very much
quarterback, obviously quarterback, but the Boo Carter thing this summer was really weird too. I think we got to the bottom of it right as camp arrived, right? It sounded like he missed some some summer practices, or summer workouts, I should say. And anytime you're skipping player-led workouts, it ain't going to sit well with the teammates. So from what I have read, from what I've talked to, the people I talked to, it sounds like it was handled in-house. The players kind of decided what the punishment was going to be. The punishment was, you're going to miss the start of fall camp. It sounds like he is back at practice today, or at least I can confirm. We reported today on SI that he was back at practice today. And it's a non-issue, it sounds like. Players miss practice all the time. I think that's one thing that general fans don't realize, is that there are times where players miss workouts. There are times when players miss practice. There are times when players are asked to leave practice. They're very common in college football. Pretty erratic young men, all right, at this age. So yeah, it's a very common thing. Now, what I really want to talk about with this situation is, do you remember what we talked about in the spring? The idea that Boo Carter might be playing both ways?
I do remember this.
Yes.
So they definitely experimented with it in the spring. I would imagine this nicks this in the bud. Like, buddy, you're playing one way. There's no, we're going to let you play two ways after missing summer workouts and having to be disciplined. Correct?
Yeah.
All right. The other bit of intel that I got was that I don't think he's a natural ball catcher. I think he's a ball in hand guy. All right. He is one of these gadgets. If you were to use him on offense, you want to get him the ball and let him do freaky stuff after the catch. You saw it with him as a return specialist.
Yeah.
Him as a punt returner last year was electric. So I think that's something that in their offense, as long as I've studied Tennessee, how many jet sweeps you seen?
Golly, none.
Not a ton.
You know why?
Because they split
It's way too
They're
wide.
outside the numbers. So there's no unless you're either a running back or a wide receiver. All right. So coming out of high school, if for those of you who don't know, he was a highly touted athlete. He was labeled as an athlete, and some schools were recruiting him as a wide receiver. Some schools were recruiting him as a DB. And 99% of the time, the reason you are chosen or placed to play DB is because you can't pluck it naturally. All right. So that's one of those offenses that you just might not be able to oh, we're just going to hand you the rock and let you do fun stuff with. So despite, I don't think it was going to happen anyways, but I don't think it was going to happen anyways. You know what I mean?
Right.
This him getting in trouble, if you will, nixed it, but I think the skill set might have nixed it anyways.
Well, I think that I think Travis Hunter being as good as he was both ways kind of put some ideas in people's, because I can't remember a time where felt like there were more football teams experimenting with two-way players than right now. Like Minnesota is doing it right now.
Y'all see my boy Coy Perch?
I saw that with the split jersey. Like they've got a two-way player. I think Alabama talked about this at one point with one of their football players. I can't remember correctly.
Caleb Downs was getting this.
Jalen Mbakwe.
Yeah, Jalen Mbakwe was talked about with this. There was some talk about Caleb Downs doing this. There are more and more players talking about, I want to play both ways. I want to play both offense and defense. Like I think that maybe in a few years we'll get away from this, but I think that Boo Carter's certainly an example of I want to play both ways, because he's certainly talented enough to do it, but you're really good DB, dude. Just be a great DB. Also got a little bit of intel on their quarterback battle, and I know Georgia plays them week 3.
Yes, sir.
It's the first SEC game for both of those teams. It sounds like it's a two-man battle. I know in the spring they thought, at leaving, once Nico left, hey, we'll let all three of them battle. After a week or so, it's like Merklinger and Aguilar kind of going at it. Now, also early indications, sounds like Aguilar is obviously the more naturally talented thrower of the football. I think that inevitably leads to him winning the job. Would you agree?
Most likely,
I think so.
So there's that. Also, if you're a gambler, I don't know, I'm sure there are people here that gamble. I hope there are, at least. Wink, wink. So if you're a gambler here and there's any site you can bet on who might be a preseason or a freshman All-American, I will put money on David Sanders to do so. My one lone concern about David Sanders coming out of high school, any of you remember?
It was
Wait, just didn't know if he was going to be able to play immediately in college, because he was 275 his senior year of high school. He was a 250-pound high school lineman and a two-way player all the way up through. He's 305 pounds now. All right, so yeah, he going to play this year. He's going to start for them this year. I think he's going to be really, really good. I think that's all I got there. Yeah. Oh, well, you want to find out about their running back room? Do you care?
Who's the leading guy there?
Yeah.
I am curious about this, actually, yes.
I think it's going to be Deshaun Bishop.
Okay.
Because we looked at it. They don't really do a two-back thing.
No.
They feed somebody. So they better figure out who that guy is. I think it's going to be a Deshaun Bishop back there instead of Peyton Lewis. Big question of the day today. What do you think success looks like in year 4 for Lincoln Riley?
It's an interesting question.
I know. That's why I proposed it.
And I think that there's two ways you can go about this. One, if you have a Heisman-winning quarterback, all of this is null and void, because we've seen time and time again that Heisman kind of saves you from, having
Make sure you hit that thumbs up button.
A bad season necessarily. That's one. Win the Heisman. I think 9-3 is the other one. With upsets either against Notre Dame, Oregon, or I'm going to say this because I think they will be underdogs in this game, Illinois.
All right, so I should have just set this whole segment up. No, I'm not saying that to you. The way my notes wrote is just, that's on me. First of all, Lincoln Riley, 26-14 since he got to USC in 3 years, right? We're going into year 4. After an 11-3 year 1, he's gone 15-11 over the last 2 years. Now, this schedule is Missouri State, Georgia Southern, Purdue, Michigan State, at Illinois, Michigan, at Notre Dame, at Nebraska, Northwestern, Iowa, at Oregon. In my opinion, he has to be 10-2 to be labeled a success. We're going to talk about 9-3. We're going to talk about 8-4. We're going to talk about these types of metrics. But here is the reality, that whether or not they should be 9-3, whether or not success is 10-2, I say success is 10-2. And that allows them to lose to Oregon on the road, and it allows them to beat Notre Dame. It's me telling Lincoln Riley in year 4, you better beat Illinois. And it's me telling Lincoln Riley in year 4 at Southern Cal that you better beat a Michigan team that just went 7-5 and has a true freshman quarterback. If that is irresponsible expectations for Southern Cal, then they have fallen off. Then they just might not have the expectations to be the program that I think they are, which I think Southern Cal is a top 10 football program in every decade, in every iteration of college football that there ever has been. They should be.
Really?
Yes. If you ever polled anybody who's ever followed college football since its originations, all right, Southern Cal is labeled a top 10 job, a top 10 university, a top 10 program. They have a 5-hour radius that is unlike anybody else's, okay? In my opinion, Southern Cal should be Alabama of the West. That's what they should be. They should be a perennial top 10 football program. That's my opinion of them, especially in the NIL era, okay? And if we're going into year 4 of a coach's tenure at that program saying, I don't know, is it fair to demand they beat Illinois? Then we just haven't met the bar. Now, we're recruiting to meet the bar right now, but we have not met the bar at Southern Cal.
I think we're giving USC too much credit as a program, honestly. And look, we need to acknowledge the fact that it's not necessarily the blue blood program that we've made it out to be. Yes, they're one of the more recognizable brands in college football. They have some of the most recognizable historic names, you know, Troy Polamalu, Ronnie Lott, Carson Palmer, Reggie Bush, O.J. Simpson. Like, there's guys there for that. But this standard of excellence that I think we keep trying to hold USC up to as a program, it seems a little unfair to me.
Just because they had Clay Helton and it didn't work out so far under the last couple of years under Lincoln Riley, and it hasn't worked in the last 10 years, doesn't mean it shouldn't.
Brooks, did you know that from 1980 to 2000, a 20-year span, USC went 148 and 92. That's a win percentage of 61%. That leads up to the 10-year span of Pete Carroll. Great era.
Yeah.
USC was one of the top programs, 2 national championships, multiple 10-win seasons, NFL players galore. Pete Carroll has not coached in a college football game. Joe Paterno has coached a college football game more recently than Pete Carroll. So that's how far removed we are from that.
All you're doing right now to me is confirming that when they have the right guy, they win like they're supposed to.
What do you mean supposed to?
Because Kirby, when we talk about where the jobs are that are great, we talk about proximity to talent, do we not? We talk about proximity to resources,
correct,
do we not? We talk about your facilities. We talk about all this. We talk about your conference. We talk about all this, and they have all of the things that say they should win at a much higher rate than, I don't know, think it's a little irresponsible to say they should beat Illinois.
Illinois, sure, and yes, I get that. And that saying Illinois, they should beat Illinois, is not far out of the realm of possibility and responsibility. I think this idea that USC should be one of these top premier programs in college football, they have all the resources to do so, absolutely. But in a 45-year span, going back to 1980, you take away a 10-year, for 35 of 45 years, Kirby, they've won 61% of games.
We watched a head football coach leave Oklahoma for this job. We watched a head football coach play in playoff games, win 11 games a year, and leave that job to go there. You can't tell me that's not a premier job in the sport.
To duck the SEC.
That's your opinion.
That's large speculation because before it was he not tied to the LSU job? I respect the idea that USC absolutely has all the tools. You're right. They have the 5-hour radius. They have the tradition. They have all the things. They could probably get boosters out there. We've seen USC football be at the peak. It is absolutely that. You look at the body of work, the last 45 years of it, they are a 61% win percentage. They have, I think, 1 conference championship in the last 15 years. They've been a mid-program with the exception of a 10-year span with Pete Carroll. Like, that's the reality of what it is. And yes, the 70s were great.
Where did the other 9 national championships come?
The 70s. They had, before Pete Carroll, they had not won a title since 78. Like, it's not as amazing as we make it out to be. I get it. Like, they are one of the blue blood programs, but from 1980 to 2000, they were mid. 61% win percentage is not great.
I think, though, that, like, I agree with both of you. I agree that we don't have to have this expectation about USC right now that they have to be super great, that they have to be one of these top programs. But I also agree with Brooks that there should be an expectation that they should be really good. Like, I think we can have this conversation about Florida. Like, Florida has not been one of these programs. They're still one of the best jobs in the country. Like, Florida should be one of these top programs because of where their university is located, because of, like, the town around them, because of the conference that they're in, all these other things. And we've seen, like, if you get the right person there, it will work out to extreme measures. So I agree with both of you. I agree that USC has not lived up to this standard. Like, maybe we look at them a little differently because of like some long history with the Trojans, but I also agree with the fact that like this should be one of the top teams in the country.
It absolutely should. They have all the reasons to be, but there's a lot of programs that if you put the right guy there, LSU's one of this, Texas A&M is one of this. We said Texas was this for a long time.
So
Tennessee, Florida, Florida State, Miami, Georgia. Like, if you put the right guy there, there's a lot of programs set up to succeed. The problem is there's only 2 or 3 right guys in the sport right now.
15 and 11 over the last 2 years ain't gonna cut it. And I think 10 and 2 again. The schedule is 4 games that might be within a touchdown in the spread.
Here's my question: If Lincoln Riley wins the Pac-12 championship a few years ago, does that change how we view them?
No, because he still goes 15 and 11 over the last 2 seasons.
I mean,
it's
do they though?
Huh?
Here's the thing. Here's the problem with that, though. If they win the Pac-12 championship, what happens in the playoff? Because I mean, if you get killed in the playoff again, it's all same old Lincoln Riley. Because
I don't know. I was just throwing up a hypothetical.
No, it's a good hypothetical. I think the next question would be if Lincoln Riley makes the national championship, has a deep role in the playoff, I think they look at him differently. But the reality is, the mantra against Lincoln Riley has always been, you have a fine team until you play anyone worth a salt, until you play a physical Utah team, or you play an SEC team that bashes your head in. That's the criticism on Lincoln Riley right now.
Bet. Way too early week 1 preview.
Let's hit it.
Shall we do this? TCU versus UNC. We got a bunch of football games, by the way, first and foremost. This is going to be a loaded week 1. I think that's how another reason how you know college football is coming back.
So bad.
Me and you two just yelled at each other for 10 minutes.
Oh, that wasn't yelling, dude.
I was as close to this show as to yell.
That's your yelling, Kirby. He's back. Calm down. Calm down.
You don't yell ever. I do. But that's as close as this show gets to, man, those two were really getting after it.
This is a good little debate we had.
I think you won, by the way. Chat's on your side.
Oh, are they?
People do not like USC.
Yeah, that's what I opened the show with. I think people love to sit here and shit on USC.
I think it's because we've gone so long without like anyone checking you to disrespect USC. Like if you say something bad about Ohio State or Bama,
there's no fan base.
People come up.
There's no irate fan base.
You can just send shots in the ether at USC and no one will stop you.
To the point where the only time we've seen USC fans in this chat is when they went on their run in the recruiting trail. They have since disappeared again. Like they're gone. Like they don't exist anymore.
Huh. Way too early week 1 preview. TCU, UNC. I think it's a very interesting football game.
I love that this is on Monday night.
Yeah.
I think this is the perfect solo shot game.
By the way, good luck figuring out what days these games are on in this week 1 slate. We're going through based off how important we think they are. So our slate right here in this order is TCU, UNC, Auburn, Baylor, and then on to the matchup, Syracuse, Tennessee, Virginia Tech, South Carolina, Bama versus USC, Notre Dame versus Miami, LSU versus Clemson, Texas versus Ohio State. Buddy, just let the wife know the whole weekend you're busy. Okay, figure out work trip, boys trip, something. Y'all just go lock in. Because from Friday, I think Thursday, honestly, from Thursday to Monday, it's just elite ball.
You better double check the farmers market schedules. You better double check and make sure there's no family photos on Sunday. You better double check all of it right now, because if you don't, you're going to regret it.
Let the wife know, hey, look, here's the deal. August 29th through September 2nd, just don't call, don't text, don't nothing. I'm locked in. Football's back.
Bring it.
I mean, you're going to get a live Sunday show at noon before Sunday afternoon college football. Say what?
That's what
this country is built off of.
This is one of my favorite times of college football before the NFL starts, because you get good games on Thursday, Saturday, sometimes on Friday, and you get a Sunday game. Like Notre Dame versus Miami's on a Sunday this year. That's incredible to me.
Yeah. Let's start. Again, TCU, UNC. I personally can't wait to watch Josh Hoover play some ball this year.
Oh, amen to that.
I think he's going to be my sneaky watch. Josh Hoover plays the quarterback position like Kenny Dillingham's football teams fight.
Ooh, just scrappy.
Just scrappy.
Josh Hoover, the main side screen play this year?
I'm thinking so. Anytime TCU's playing and I'm active, and when they're on offense, primary screen.
Yeah. Primary.
I think so. I just think because he's going to take so many death shots while delivering them that I'm just going to enjoy it. I told you, I think if I were an offensive lineman that played for Josh Hoover, I'd be willing to die for that guy. And I think as a viewer, when somebody creates that sense of feeling in me, I just want to watch them. I found myself watching Arizona State football a lot last year because of this value. They had a team value of, I'll die today.
Now, let's not ignore the main reason why this is on everyone's slate. What does a Bill Belichick team look like?
What does he even look like?
That's the main question. And like, there's nothing I can even give you to preview. Like, oh, I'm interested to see this play. It's just, how does Bill Belichick handle himself on the sidelines? How does this roster look? What does a UNC defense look like?
And honestly, I think that's the key to the football game. I think it's how well does North Carolina start? Because I personally think if you allow Bill Belichick to start making some adjustments on you, maybe you're in trouble. Maybe. But if you jump out on this football team, you might be all right.
Yeah, I think that is Bill Belichick good enough though to like completely turn around that defense? Because that defense was bad.
That defense was
really bad. Like, and they lost their best player.
Game to watch.
Yeah.
They lost their best player in Bo Atkinson.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have him on the roster anymore. It's like, as great as a defensive mind Bill Belichick is, I think that you can undoubtedly see great, like you'll see some progress from them. I just don't know if it's going to be enough for them to be like, oh, like we can rely on the defense today.
Am I insane for asking this question? Should we be wondering if Bill Belichick is ready for college offenses?
I don't think you're insane for that at all.
Like, when has Bill Belichick ever had to spend an entire season preparing for RPOs?
Probably never.
Yeah, never.
When has he ever had to figure out how to stop it?
Never.
Other than, I guarantee I know what he's doing. He's talking to Saban. He's probably going to do a Saban version of the defense. They've been playing the same style of defense for a long time. But the style of offense that we have, right? Specifically like a team like TCU. We studied it. TCU's out here throwing bubble screens with options off of it. TCU's out here RPOing to death. Okay, like how ready are you for college offense?
It's not even just the style of opposing offense. It's the style of being in that environment in general.
Yeah.
Like, Bill Belichick was notorious for being a no fun, he's up your ass all the time, very hard on players. Like, I don't think you can necessarily get away with that as much with 18 to 22-year-old kids. I'm very interested in this dynamic. Simply
also,
for that.
just like the variety of offenses that you see in college. Like, I watch pro football on Sunday. Everybody's running kind of the same version. That's why it's a pro offense. Okay, they're all running either under the eye or in the shotgun. They're running the same kind of.
There's no such thing as a college style offense.
No, ain't nobody out here colleging their way in the NFL because the rules are different. So it's a total different game. Hashes are different. Like, how prepared is he for the college defense?
Do you think his lady's on the sideline?
I don't know. I think they hide her. I think
they'll put her in a box, I'm sure.
I think they've learned their lesson.
I hadn't heard about her.
It has been.
That's what I'm saying.
It has been quite.
The lesson has been learned, dude. When you have a whole entire podcast episodes about you, and I think New York Times is out here writing articles about you. I think it's time to hide you, keep you. Any PR director would tell you that
for sure.
Auburn versus Baylor. This has got my favorite nickname. I hope this nickname sticks. You think it's gonna stick?
What is it?
The Big Mother Chucker.
I like that. That is
Big Mother Chucker, my man Sawyer Robertson. All right, if you don't know about Sawyer, threw for about 4 racks last year, close to it, out there at Baylor. Threw for about 450 against LSU in the bowl game. About 6'4", 235, and he a big chucker.
The closer we get to this game, the more worried I get for Auburn.
Right?
Like, this time in January, we're like, oh, Auburn and Baylor, they should be able to handle that. Solid non-conference win. The closer we're getting, it's like Baylor's favored. Everyone else, Auburn fans are just writing this off as an automatic win.
You know what I also love about Baylor? Very much so a take what you give me offense. Like, I've seen, you go through them, you watch them on tape. There's some games where they're rushing for 250 yards. There's some games where they're throwing for damn near 500. There's some games where they're balanced. They're very much so, you want to play it that way? Well, we know how to win that way, so they just attack you that way. Their offensive coordinator, I don't know his name. I should do my research on that, but
the way I would label
what he's doing.
The way I would label this game, and I don't know which I love more. I think you have one team that has nothing to lose, and you have one team that has everything to lose. Because Baylor can lose this game, and it ultimately doesn't mean anything for you in the Big 12. And while that the same can be applied to Auburn, it's an out-of-conference game. It means nothing to you in the SEC. But losing that game is way more detrimental to Auburn than it is Baylor. But I don't know. Like, do I love an Auburn team that feels like their back is against the wall, like they have everything to fight for, or do I love a careless Baylor football team?
I don't think Hughes got. I think Hughes got expectations put on himself, and he did it himself. You know, at SEC Media Days, he told everybody that he had 5 NFL draft-eligible, draftable, graded offensive linemen. This is the best offensive line that he's had since he's been at Auburn.
What is this guy doing?
You know, we all know what he's got in the wide receiver core.
Yeah.
We all know he spent $1.5 million on apparently his guy in the portal in Jackson Arnold.
So he says.
There is no reason other than, not living up to expectations that this offense shouldn't be really, really good this year. All right, so there's that. Also, defense ain't bad.
No.
Got a really good defense. This is a must-win football game.
Oh, absolutely.
An absolute must-win football game.
1,000% must-win. And it'll be interesting to see how Jackson Arnold meshes with these Auburn weapons because they are very good weapons. Like we've talked about, everyone talks about, Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams. I think Cam Coleman, you could argue, is a, 2A in that regard. So very interested to see what this offense looks like.
I do like what Baylor returns on both sides of the ball. They return both top wide receivers. The number 34, they return him. They also return Ashton Hawkins, who both of them, again, led the team in receiving yards last year. And then they got Keaton Thompson, who was leading team in tackles for loss last year. And they return a really good corner in Corey Gordon. Mm-hmm. Like, they return some really solid pieces from last year's team, not even mentioning Sawyer Robertson.
I know Vegas ain't everything, but I found out why that line moved, by the way. There was some bigwig that came in, put $750,000 on Baylor. Yeah. So,
jeez.
Somebody's got some type of intel that I don't. I'm just,
or just $3 million to burn.
I'm just curious how you play. How would you play Baylor? Do you prepare to? I think if you're an SEC team, unlike what LSU did, LSU loaded the box and said you're not running the ball today. If you throw for 500 yards, you do. Mm-hmm. Now they ended up jumping on top of them, so Baylor the game plan worked, but. I wonder what Auburn does. Do they say, hey, we're an SEC football team. We can stop you with our defensive line and linebackers. We don't need to add anything into this box.
From what I've seen from most SEC non-conference, that's usually the MO. It's like, we're the SEC. You want to run us, earn it.
Yeah.
And you can do everything else. You're going to have to earn everything else, but you're not running this football. So
Jake Spavital is the Baylor offensive coordinator. Shout out to chat. Yeah, that if we die, we die was very much so Blake Baylor's game plan. Blake Baker, I should say. We're going to talk about him in a little bit. We good on this game?
Yeah.
Must win for Hugh Freeze. They're a tough first six, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. And that first six will kind of depend what ultimately happens to him.
Yeah.
We don't have to go into the sidetrack of whether or not you should fire coaches nowadays based off the transfer portal like we had pre-show. Do you think that's worth bringing here?
We can touch on it a little bit, I think.
My opinion is that unless it's a 5-7 or a 4-8 season, if it's 6-6 or better, you have to keep Hugh Freeze because he did sign 2 top 10 classes. And if you fire him, all that money that you spent on those players, they're right into the portal. You have Texas A&M 2.0.
That is a very, very solid argument.
No matter who you hire, unless it's the greatest coach of all time, the odds are you're going to have 60% roster turnover. You're going to have a bunch of dudes hit the portal.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what you
6-6 might do that anyways.
That was your opinion pre-show.
Yeah.
You think if you go 6-6, you lose Cam Coleman to the portal anyway?
I think there's certainly a possibility. I mean, look, and I know it's Georgia Tech, but Georgia Tech lost their top wide receiver after having one of the most successful seasons in program history. Just because I'm that good, someone's going to take me. Mm-hmm. Cam Coleman,
and pay me, not just take me.
Cam Coleman, you spent 2 years on that roster. You thought that maybe this year, if you go 6-6, that's a sign of one, you didn't show any improvement. Like you didn't take any massive leaps forward. Like who's to say that that's going to happen next year with the first year starting quarterback and Deuce Knight likely? Like why would I do that when I can spend my last?
Is he there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the other thing.
If you fire Hugh Freeze, is Deuce Knight there? Is he in the portal and he's at Notre Dame all of a sudden?
So like I think that'd be my opinion of you're at risk of losing those guys anyways.
Is Deuce Knight what DJ Lagway was to Billy Napier last year?
He could be.
Yeah, he could be.
To where it's like,
if it gets that bad this year, where Jackson Arnold plays like poop and they're 2-4 through their first 6, or whatever the worst case scenario is, then yeah, you put Deuce Knight in, and if he shows any sign of life, you just saved your job.
I've always said that Deuce Knight is the temperature of Hugh Freeze's seat this year. Like if he gets deployed, when he gets deployed, how he plays, that is the temperature of Hugh Freeze's seat in Auburn.
It's a great indicator.
It's intriguing, man. I just think when you recruit that way, you kind of I feel like you should buy yourself time because of the way the portal is now. When you fire coaches, immediate eligibility, just a free-for-all on your roster. It's very, very scary nowadays. On to Syracuse and Tennessee. This is a big time we're going to see at the quarterback position game right here.
Most definitely.
Syracuse with Steve Angeli. And whoever wins that job up there in Tennessee, like I said earlier, I think it's going to be Aguilar.
Yeah, I mean, all signs kind of point to it being Aguilar, and that's kind of what everyone's labeling this is like. What does Joey Aguilar look like against a non-conference non-conference opponent that's actually pretty competent. It's not, no offense, UMass or Ball State or one of these lesser programs. Like Syracuse is a very dangerous ACC team. That's kind of the interesting matchup for me. But I'm honestly more excited to see what Fran Brown Syracuse teams look like in year 2. Like, where's that progression come from? I think everyone's going to try to make this about Josh Heupel and how do they look against a pretty decent program in week 1. I want to see what Fran Brown does.
Would a loss to Syracuse week 1 be catastrophic for Tennessee?
I don't think so. I was having conversations today with not a source in the building, but just someone who covers the team about, I think the fan base is expecting this to be like a competitive SEC team, and this might be, like we mentioned last night, a good enough team to beat you, but this might be an 8-4 football team. This might be a 9-3 football team.
Yeah, and that's what I put in my notes of. I think we figure out what headspace Tennessee's fan base is in this season in that game. Which,
if you think this is going to be you boat racing NC State to start the season, it's not going to be that.
I saw some people trying to do the comparisons to 1998. Where we lose a high 5-star quarterback after a so-and-so season, and we open against a non-conference, like all of the ties together. So some Tennessee fans are believing still, which I don't know. A rude awakening.
Let's talk real football here for a second. I am very curious what a guy who was at Georgia's staff 2 years ago does to this offense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like how's he going to play it? Because I know how Georgia plays it. I know the philosophy. You play the box light and you cover everybody else with the extra bodies over the top. You play the box really light because you got big dudes and you can stop them. But can Syracuse do that? I'm very curious to see what happens against Tennessee defensively this year round. If they had Nico last year, by the way, or this year, I think it's the same way. I think teams are going to load the hell up out the box against Tennessee this year. I think they're going to do what we saw Florida do to them on tape last year, where they're like, you can't beat me today. There's no way. You're not going to get on top of me. Even if you do, you're not completing it.
Go ahead, hit the deep ball.
Try. Go ahead. You're terrible at it. They were so bad at it last year that teams finally did it to them. I watched for the first 3 years of Heupel in this conference. Everybody was terrified of getting beat over the top. Everybody played them so light that they just ran all over everybody. Now, they still ran all over everybody last year without a deep game. I'm just very curious to see what happens to them this year.
I do want to see what the running back looks like. Because like we talked about earlier, like they usually go with one guy. Dylan Sampson's not on that roster this year, and Dylan Sampson was, I would say, far and away the best running back in the SEC last season.
That's a solid statement.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
I don't even know off the top of my head who was a close second.
I can't think of it.
That's how far and away it was?
Yeah, I mean, he was...
That's what it felt like.
Whew. Maybe Jaden Ball or one of the Marion Hampton, like one of the
maybe Jarquez Hunter.
Maybe Jarquez Hunter.
Jarquez Hunter. Yes.
Whoa. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Or Moss.
We should have had that way earlier.
Or Moss.
Or Moss.
At Texas A&M.
Le'Veon Moss.
Those would be the two names.
Damn. We're so locked in on this year, we forgot last year.
That's on
what
us.
Just happened.
That's on us.
But I think you bring up a really valid point about Fran Brown and his history at Georgia, what Georgia does to them. But like the other thing that we've always talked about with why Georgia does it, but you don't see other teams do it, is because Georgia has the players to do that.
The bodies.
Yeah, Georgia has the bodies and the players to be able to not dedicate so many bodies to the box against Tennessee. Does Syracuse have that? I don't know that they do. But again, you may not even need that this year to play Tennessee.
We'll see. On to Virginia Tech and South Carolina. We played this game the other day with one of these over-under 30 quarterback carries in this football game between Kyron Jones and
30 carries, 15 design runs.
15 apiece.
That's a lot. This is not counting sacks, right?
No.
I got to go under.
I'll give you scrambles, though.
Oh, you give me scrambles?
I'll give you scrambles.
Okay. I'll still go under on that.
Norris might have 18 of those. He bite.
This is a game that I've circled for South Carolina as this will expose any cracks you have, I think. I think we're coming into this. There's a lot of people coming into this year very high on this team based on what they did last season, based on how they finished the year. Some say they could have been a playoff team. I think that with everything they lost, with Nicky Manwari, Tonka Hemingway, like Rocket Singer, the amount of players that they lost to the NFL is so drastic that I think this will be the first matchup that exposes any of the cracks. I don't necessarily see an avenue where Virginia Tech wins this game, but I think there could be a lot of areas where we go, oh, that was not good.
Who is the football coach in college football most unanimously connected to you suck in week one?
Oh, Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly.
Immediately, right? Ran right to it. I'm going to read off some memories of South Carolina Week 1 football for you guys. In 2022, did you guys know that Georgia State was only down 12-7 at the half against South Carolina in Week 1?
Oh, the triple option.
In 2023, I think they gave up 19 sacks to North Carolina in a
like
Week
that.
1 loss.
Ew.
I mean, look like poop.
Poor Spencer Rattler.
Absolute poop. Last year, they damn near lost to Old Dominion at home, Week 1.
Oh, we thought they were going to be trash.
They're playing like not good football teams that they're favored by multiple scores against and laying eggs. Watch out now. Yeah, this might be a thing out there at South Carolina.
It could be.
Now, they were definitely working in quarterbacks a lot of those situations. But
Yeah. Well, and I think too, like, Virginia Tech isn't just like some slappy football team. And obviously, we know that, but like defensively, they were like top 35 in all the strong categories last year, like tackles for loss, turnover margin, all of those things. Like Virginia Tech was a top 35 defense last year, and so I put in my notes that I think that you are quickly going to find out if South Carolina's weapons are going to be legitimate enough for them to be a competitor this year. Because on top of that, Virginia Tech, their two guys that are projected to start at cornerback for them this year, they have a combined 3 starts between them. So these are like, they've played some football, but they have not played a lot of football so far. So I think that's a big thing to look out for. I will say though, Virginia Tech got Bayshul Tootin last year, really good running back. I think they got another one. I like Terrian Stewart. He comes from Bowling Green.
that's a very basic name for you.
I know.
Huh.
Yeah, he had a really good season last year. And
That means
look,
it's
get
gonna
this.
be a dud, chat. That means the prediction is going to be a dud. If he brings me Joe Schmo, the player, no chance.
5'9", 216. He's a load to bring down.
Whoa.
That is a fire
Center of
hydrant.
gravity,
Good Lord.
non-existent.
That boy thick.
Yeah.
He's a thick boy.
What's his name?
Terrian Stewart. He rushed for 859 yards last year.
I
gotta
also
Google my man.
I know he had a bad
I
season.
bet he looks like Jonathan Stewart.
A big boy.
Ooh, yeah, or Mike Tolbert.
Oh my God.
He's huge. So,
Okay.
for a team that is losing many defensive contributors, especially up front, that being South Carolina, I'd be keeping an eye on that one. Terrian Stewart might be running for days against them.
That boy thick.
I'm telling you, dude. He's a big boy.
Bowling ball, not bowling green.
I also do think that for as poor of a season as he had in 2024, I think Kyron Drones coming back does add some kind of. What do you want to show the camera?
I mean, holy cow.
He's huge.
That is a fire hydrant.
Oh man,
Yeah, buddy.
dude, look at the thighs.
Buddy would have been hell in Paul Johnson's system as a B-back.
Dude, he's got Michael Turner thighs.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's bow-legged too. I might be in.
Just saying. I'm just saying. I want to keep an eye on.
Look at you, Jay Will.
Not a bad take right there. Bama versus Florida State. I think this is going to be a bludgeoning.
Ooh, a bludgeoning.
I think this is going to be an absolute bludgeoning. Here's why. I might get clipped here. I do not like the additions that Florida State made. I'm going to be honest with you. I like the idea that you're going out and trying to add new pieces, and that's all great. But I thought you added pieces that didn't necessarily work out in their first stop at other programs. All right, so let's run down the list. I love Deuce Robinson out of high school. It didn't necessarily work out at USC. Maybe it works out at stop 2. Let's apply this thought process to Squirrel White too. It didn't work out like it was supposed to at Tennessee. Maybe it works out at Florida State. We all didn't necessarily think it worked out at Boston College for Thomas Castellanos. Maybe it works out at Florida State. Guys, they're starting at linebacker. They're starting a linebacker this year at Florida State that couldn't play last year at Nebraska.
Oh,
They're starting another linebacker that had 60 tackles at Memphis. So, like, I'm all for it, but there's a lot of examples of you're taking guys at Florida State that didn't work out at other programs. So and it's not like they didn't work out at Bama, which they did all offseason last year, right? They just, you didn't work out at Bama, come try for us. Oh, you didn't work out at Big School A, come try for us. Now it's like, you didn't work out at USC or Nebraska, come work out for us.
You didn't work out? Come on over.
The trend is definitely alarming for Mike Norvell, and I think that we've kind of established at this point, regardless of what happens with this season, that the model of building your roster around transfer portal talent and acquiring talent that way and kind of using the high school recruiting method as a second thought doesn't seem to be working out that well. You can get quick hitters every now and then, but
By the way, this isn't what they did in their first round of doing this. Their first round of successfully grabbing a bunch of portal players, they grabbed a bunch of mid-major guys, right? The edge rusher that's playing for the Rams right now.
No, not Jared Verse.
It is Jared Verse.
Is it?
That dude played like low-level football. Like, holy crap.
Albany State,
right? The Braden Fisk kid, that was small-level football, balled out, came to Florida State. Say what?
Western Michigan.
Yeah, Western Michigan, right? Like, small-level football, balled out. Not, oh, you had 700 yards at USC or 500 yards at USC. It's just interesting.
So I think that all three of us agree that Alabama will handle them in the end of it. I think that we all agree that Alabama's going to win by multiple scores. So, like, what is a winning scenario for Florida State in this football game?
I think, and this is kind of how I envision the game will go, because it's in Doak Campbell, it's in Tallahassee. You have that environment. You have the advantage of Alabama, whoever they go out, is going to be having his first college football start on the road in an environment that is relatively hostile. That's probably going to slow the offense. I think this is a game where you look up and it's halftime and maybe it's a one-score game and everyone's kind of like, oh, Florida State giving Alabama everything they can handle. And then the third quarter happens or early fourth quarter and Alabama just explodes and it's a 2-score game that Alabama wins by. I think if you go through that in Florida State, you have to feel good of like, man, you know what? For 30 minutes, we gave Alabama everything we could handle.
We almost had them.
After a 2-10 season. Like that, I think obviously winning is a great scenario, but
this is going to look just like the Saban out-of-conference game ones. This is going to look just like that time they tatted up USC. It's going to look just like that time they tatted up Miami.
They did at Florida State too.
It's going to look just like that. I think this is going to be a 21-point win for Alabama. And you'll hear the same analysis in a couple weeks. Notre Dame versus Miami, another massive football game. Stylistically, I don't think it's a very good matchup for Miami. Now, I know Notre Dame lost a bunch of defensive backs, but as long as Marcus Freeman is there, I just print and repeat this statement. I think Notre Dame has one of the best secondaries in college football. That's just the way I think that they're going to do it, all right? Because since he's been there, it's looked like that. They just keep spitting them out, one after the other, NFL quality, man-to-man, bumper run, cover corners. It's what they do. They play man-to-man. They get after you. They send mixed simulated pressures. They hunt on the defensive side of the football. And for a Miami unit that is just now trying to develop some cohesiveness throughout camp, and we believe on this network has to prove to us they have weapons, I think Notre Dame's going to come out there in your face man-to-man coverage and say, you can't beat us today. All right. And I don't know if that's necessarily conducive to a Carson Beck successful story. Yeah. Right? That means he's going to have to extend plays. That means he's going to have to, be a playmaker essentially, which we don't know if that's his best strong suit.
He's going to have to be Cam Ward.
I don't think he'll ever be that, but
like in the sense of like, oh, how did he make that play?
Like in the sense that, hey, they're bringing 6, we've got 5 to protect, or they're bringing 7, we got 6 to protect. You got to make a guy miss, extend the play, make a play downfield. In that sense, that's not his strong suit.
No.
And on top of that, you're more so going to be relying on Miami's weapons to beat Notre Dame's DBs. And that's been our biggest concern about Miami all year of like, do they have dudes? Like, do you have the guys to beat a man-up defense? Because, I mean, Carson Beck will get it to the open guy, but is a guy going to be open?
All that being said, I think this is going to be a Notre Dame win that looks like their win at Texas A&M last year. I think they're going to struggle to move the football. I think they're going to be pretty stagnant offensively. I think it's going to be a 17-14 win for Notre Dame that's won based off defense and running the football. I think they're going to Notre Dame their way to a win down there in Miami.
Yeah,
but that offense is going to get hung up a little bit, I think.
And that's kind of been the recipe for success for a Marcus Freeman team. Like even
especially early on.
Yeah, a few years ago, I think back when they played the Marvin Harrison Notre Dame or Ohio State team. It was
10-7.
It was like a 17-14 game. Like it's always been that to where it's like, can we just hold that defense enough? And I think that's probably what you're going to see with Miami. I do think Carson Beck's going to struggle at time. And by the way, we don't know what he's like. Are we getting 100% Carson Beck? We're being told that that's the case, and he's throwing in fall practice. But
the clips I saw, motion looks identical. I mean, it's indoors, but ball still looks good.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna be fine.
But also the mental thing there.
That too.
That's the bigger concern. I think physically he'll be fine. Like modern medicine is great. Can you get past the mental block of especially if not even just the injury, what happened to you last year at Georgia? Like he got dragged through the mud, not just on the field, but even by the media and by the fan base. Like, is that in your head right now?
LSU and Clemson. Golly, what a good week one. I think this is the quarterback battle that we the best quarterback battle that we got. Maybe not the most intriguing, maybe not the most that everyone's going to want to talk about leading up to week one, because I think that's going to be Arch Manning, Julian Sayin, because of how big that matchup is. But this is going to be the best one-on-one battle. And by the way, I don't think either of these football teams is going to be able to run the ball. So I think this is going to be 45 attempts maybe from both of these quarterbacks, and it's going to be a real fun football game to watch.
I love this. I think this is the perfect neutral fan football game, because I think that neutral fans have reasonable questions about both of these rosters. For LSU, it's about the defense. Are they actually going to be respectable enough to be a national title contender this year? And then for Clemson is, can you actually hang with the big dogs this year? Are you actually going to take steps forward holistically as a roster to where when you play a top 10 team, you feel like you also belong with that top 10 team? I think you're going to get both of those questions answered, because I think that this is going to be one of LSU's biggest tests of the year defensively, and it's obviously going to be one of Clemson's biggest, or is the biggest test for Clemson all year,
if
regular
I'm
season
Brian
wise.
Kelly, I'm calling in Blake Baker into my office, and I'm showing him on one screen the statistical differences between year one with Pete Golden at Ole Miss and year two with Pete Golden at Ole Miss. And then I'm showing him the level of calibers of players that we gave him in year one and year two at Ole Miss. And what I'm saying is, year one with Pete Golden at Ole Miss, they were this super exotic football team trying to get after you, throwing it all different places, giving up whole lots of explosives, all right, left and right, up and down performances week to week, couldn't figure it out. Now, they went out and added a bunch of players last offseason at Ole Miss, right? And what did Pete Golden do? Pete Golden was much more conservative in his approach, laid back in coverage, all right, let his defensive line hunt, because he had the guys to go do it. What did Brian Kelly and his personnel staff do this offseason? They went through a whole bunch of bodies on the defensive line. They went through a whole bunch of bodies at the defensive backfield, right? Signed a 5-star on DJ Pickett. Blake, you got better players this year. We tried to help you out. Let's tone it down just a little bit, okay? Especially when we go up here and play Clemson. Let's try to keep these guys in front of us just a little bit. Death by explosives is a bad death to have. Let's have death by 1,000 cuts today, because we're LSU. We got good football players now. We might be able to get them up off the field.
You know, the common stat in this game that's going to get hammered into everyone's heads, if it hasn't been already, is Brian Kelly's 0-3 in season openers. That's the big one. But there's another stat that people aren't really paying attention to. Dabo Swinney's 0-3 in his last SEC matchups.
Oh.
And he hasn't beaten a ranked SEC team since 2019.
So that was last year. He lost 3 SEC games last year.
Correct, but he hasn't beaten a ranked SEC team since 2019 when he beat Texas A&M. So there's a lot on the line for both of these guys. And I think that it's not necessarily going to be outside pressure, but the pressure's on for Dabo Swinney to get a win against what will be a ranked SEC school.
I would argue that the first team will probably be the only team to get to 100 yards rushing in this game. Is probably going to win.
That's a great. I mean, these are two,
and neither one of them are coming in with like that team could definitely run the football.
Yeah,
not only that,
both running backs.
Clemson's defensive line.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Right. So and Clemson's running back situation, like, is Adam Randall going to be a dude? Maybe.
I think if LSU puts,
they said he is the next Derrick Henry. Not kidding.
That's what they said?
There's a graphic.
Oh.
I think if LSU...
What, because he's height and weight similar?
I don't know.
6'3", 240?
I don't know.
Shit, Donald Trump is the next Derrick Henry.
That's true. Height and weight's identical.
Same.
Yep.
But I think...
Self-reported.
I think if LSU walks away with this game with 75 rushing yards, they should feel like they had a good night on the ground. That's how good this Clemson D-line is.
All right, let's move on to our last game, most important game of week one, Texas at Ohio State. Is this going to be the most overreacted to week one football game in the history of college football?
Goodness, yes.
That's funny you asked that, because I asked, is there a scenario for this football game to go to where there aren't overreactions?
No.
Like, is there any scenario?
Yeah, 35-34.
Okay.
Last second field goal.
But then
Ohio State wins it, though.
Ooh.
Then it'll be,
because if they pull a 50-yard field goal, Ryan Day is going to get that stat where he has no 50-yard field goals made in the last 7 years of Ohio State.
I agree with this.
Crazy.
Because if Arch Manning is the one that wins a shootout, then that's the overreaction. It's about Arch Manning.
This guy's a god.
He's him.
Yeah.
But if he loses a shootout, I think it's like really good. Still got some areas to learn.
But he's got to make the game-losing play.
That's like a game-losing pick.
Yep. He goes 28 for 34, 305, 2 touchdowns, a pick. They lose 35-34.
Pulls a Will Howard and slides while Tom runs out.
No reactions at all. We just ignore the whole entire game. We move on.
Okay. But to answer your question, no. There's going to be overreactions. There's just no way possible it doesn't happen.
I'm almost not looking forward to that the Sunday after that game simply because of what people are going to be saying about it.
Sunday after, buddy, we got the whole rest of Saturday for that to happen.
God,
it's the noon game.
Kick. I forgot.
It is the noon game.
I'm not looking forward to 9 p.m. at night when people are like, "Did y'all see that Texas and Ohio State game?"
One snap of Garrett Nussmeier. All right, I've seen enough. Arch is the best in the SEC.
Also, by the way, do you think we get the same exact game plan from Texas defensively? Because they just backed off like 20 yards off of Ohio State. Do y'all remember?
Yeah. I mean, that's
but
why
they had the defensive line to be able to do that.
No, you have to change some things. You're going to have to.
I think it's also like it's one of the more interesting week one matchups because these dudes just got done playing each other. It felt like,
they are fairly different rosters, though, especially on Ohio State side. So
they are, but you would imagine schematically and organizationally they'll be relatively similar
for the most part.
Yeah,
I mean, Texas is playing Ohio State back to back technically.
I think everyone ought to have that game plan against Ohio State. You'll run for 400 yards today, but you are not throwing the ball. I would try.
Yeah.
We might play you like the old Madden approach or drop 9. We might drop 9 against you.
Oh, dude, that was me for a while.
And if you rush for 5 yards a carry and go, 14 play drives and you take up 5 minutes to score, you are mathematically not going to score 40 on me today.
This
not
is
going to
true.
get enough possessions.
This is true.
It's almost like playing the triple option defensively. We are going to schematically force you to run the football. I figured out Ohio State.
Jeremiah Smith, we got you clamped.
I figured out Jeremiah Smith right here on the network. Drop 9. We got a whole nother hour coming up. It's our best hour. We finna talk that dog.
Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog? What's up? Really like that. You really like that? Let's shut up and grab some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back in to the Film Guy Network. We got a loaded local hour for you guys tonight. We got a 5-star commitment inbound in 2 days. Sudden 5-star commitment inbound in 2 days. We rewatched Carson Beck film today, and he had some comments about Georgia's practices versus Miami's practices. We're going to talk about it. Have a general conversation about the necessity for being connected as a football team in sports today. And most importantly, we have a full season game-by-game predictions here on today's show. Super excited for the season game-by-game predictions. Also super excited for a segment tonight. I'm going to walk you through what football practice looks like. I'm going to walk you through what a practice schedule looks like at most of these programs based off Carson Beck's comments. But let's start today's show with the news from today. Make sure you're in that thumbs up button. Got a lot of people in the chat today. I don't think we've matched enough of those likes on the video. So if you're in the chat right now, get out of it for just a second. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Let's start with the news. LaDainian Guyton suddenly announced he will be committing in 2 days, August 7th. I'm going to let you know right now, this ain't good news. This is not good news if you're a Georgia fan today.
No.
I think he's going to be a Texas Tech Red Raider. I've got it on good authority. They tried to get him to reclass into 2027. Now, the only reason that didn't happen, or 2026, the only reason that didn't happen, per my sourcing, is that the transfer. He transferred from Savannah Christian to Benedictine. Now, if you know anything about GHSA, if you know anything about high schools here in the state of Georgia, you will know that transferring from a public school to public school, not that big of a deal from a credit standpoint. Okay, classes are classes, courses are courses. But you go from private school to private school, you might have lost a couple of hours or a couple of credits. And if you do that, you might not be eligible in time to squeeze in all those extra courses to reclass. So I think it's going to be Texas Tech.
It certainly looks that way. And even if it was Georgia, you would have to go through another cycle holding on to this guy. So it's not great news that he's committing to this week.
Good news is that this is not like this year's class where you had one guy that you circled in on, and if you miss on him, you felt kind of screwed. The good news is if Guyton does indeed go to Texas Tech, you got several other names that's like, hey, we just got the next guy up now.
Yeah, if you missed on Kamari Brooks in 2026, you probably would have felt pretty bad. Now, that being said, I'm not going to sit here and do the rose-tinted glasses or tell you it's all sunshines and rainbows. I have been very much so on the record with this football player at 14 years old saying he might be the best prospect I ever evaluate.
Yeah.
This is a really, really good football player that Texas Tech is about to get a commitment from, we believe, in less than 48 hours. So that should be noted. But you mentioned it is a very deep class in 2027, particularly within the state. These are players you should know right now. David Jacobs Jr. got NFL pedigree. He's out there at Blessed Trinity. Really, really good football player. Justin Weeks at Pace Academy, another high-end football player at the edge rusher position. How about this name? And you already know. Success, Noah Bude.
Oh, Nigerian pipeline.
You already know. And guess what? Athens Christian, right down the road.
Really?
How about a stat line for you? 6'7", 245 pounds.
Excuse me?
Lord, that's
Yes, sir.
6'7"?
6'7", 245 pounds, playing single A private school football.
It's almost as tall as you, Jay Will.
Please tell me he plays basketball.
Oh, you already know he be hooping.
That's gotta be somewhat akin to Zion Williamson's highlight reel. Like, it's tiny Christian school basketball. And then we have Zion Williamson.
The football highlight tape probably looks like LeBron James' highlight.
No kidding, dude.
From football.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I got to go take a peek. No, that's all in-state football players. So there's that. I talked about it in the National Hour. I don't have any beef with this. In fact, I'm fine with it, right? We talked about it in the National Hour. I was going to go on this whole diatribe about this is just terrible. This makes no sense. They're out just buying kids, whatever. All right, they're Texas Tech. I appreciate that they're out here blatantly telling you this is what we're doing. We are buying ourselves into relevancy in the Big 12. We're fine with it. I'm just confused. I just don't know how it happens. I don't know how they're able to do it.
It's definitely, again, and I'm not even going to sit here and pretend like I can make some sense of it. It's definitely interesting, but if you can do it, go out and do it, Texas Tech. Go ahead and break that caste system of college football and become one of these, underdog stories simply just by buying your way to it. I have no qualms about it.
So there's that. We rewatched Carson Beck today. Carson Christian. Did you watch the hour and 20 minutes?
I did not watch the hour and 20 minutes.
Well, you didn't have to, because only about 30 minutes in, we were already finished with Carson. Did you watch 30 minutes of it?
No, I did not.
Yeah, it checks out. Not just you. I'm not saying you. It checks out with our audience, too. Okay, we got 50,000 of you jamokes that subscribe to this network, which I'm very thankful for, by the way. I love every single one of you. Okay, you're brilliant ball knowers. You should watch the video we dropped today. Sorry for calling you jamokes.
Oh, what's that? We just went down to 49,000 subscribers.
Dang. Live viewership just dropped like crazy. That's on me. But anyways, you should go watch that. Okay, you should definitely go watch that. But Carson was in it, and I think there needs to be a discussion about what it means to be connected in sports and the importance of it. And here's why I say that. When we watched that tape from last year, it wasn't just the drops, okay, which is a sign of an inability to literally connect a pass between a quarterback and a wide receiver. It's about rapport, right? It's about reps. It's about connectedness, about comfortability between sender and receiver of the ball, of the pill, right? It was the missed assignments last year. I mean, how many times did we turn on tape and be like, we clearly can see you're going the wrong way. You didn't get the call. I mean, we watched them throw an interception to start the football game against Alabama because a wide receiver literally didn't get a check. Oof. He was so unconnected with his quarterback that he didn't get the check at the line of scrimmage. That shouldn't happen at elite football programs, right? I didn't see a football team last year that was connected at all. And I think I know how vital being connected, right? The idea that the team is one. I understand how important this is to success because it's all the greats talk about. It's all the great football coaches talk about. So much so that in 2021 and 2022, I think the thing that I remember most about those football teams in that time period of Georgia football was skull sessions. It's all I heard about. It's all I heard Kirby Smart talk about is how connected that football team was, how player-led that football team was. That's all he talked about. He didn't talk about how talented they were. Now, every other football coach talked about that. Shane Beamer talked about that when he got boxed. They got 1 million 5-stars over there, right? He talked about that. Well, guess what? Georgia still got one of the best rosters in the sport. They did last year. They got beat by teams that had worse rosters on paper than they did. Why? Those other teams were a little bit more connected. They executed better. In my opinion, the Notre Dame game was an example of that. Their final football game, their loss, was the other team executing and being more won and more sound than you. All right? So we don't have to talk about the quarterback that left and whether or not he lacked that or whether or not it was a disconnected portion because of him. But I want to talk about what the new guy does have, because that's all they talk about with Gunner. All they talk about with Gunner is how much his other teammates want to play for him, how his other teammates are bonded to him, how he elevates the teammates around him. And in my opinion, it was the number one thing you were lacking last year. And in my opinion, also, everything else around the quarterback this year is far superior offensively than what it was a year ago.
Yeah, and I don't even think we need to reiterate how much of an anomaly 2024 felt like. Because for the most part, you had a lot of the same cast you had from 2023, minus a Ladd, minus a Brock, which are big deals. But like, you had a lot of you had a lot of returning people, but the problems were way more exponential. So I think that's definitely a big thing to talk about. But like you said, Gunnar Stockton bringing this and having such an emphasis on the 11 guys on the field that he is playing with right now, no matter who it be, he is connected with. They believe in him. He believes in them. It's huge.
You know what also I think returns to this roster this year? I think the last 2 years, I don't know if I saw Kirby Smart lose his, a singular time. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you within the first month of this season, there is a moment where Kirby Smart is absolutely chewing the ever-loving out of number 14, where he is in the face of Gunnar Stockton. And you know who's going to respond? All 104 of the other guys watching. All right, because that's the way that program has always been, is when we watch them. The quarterback gets to smoke. The best players get to smoke. Nolan Smith comes off the field. He's getting his butt chewed, okay, when things aren't what they're supposed to be. And I'm not saying that's why they weren't what they were supposed to be, but it's who that coach is. And I felt like he wasn't able to do that the last couple of years, and he's certainly getting back to that this year.
Could be one of the sole reasons why he wanted to bring in this fire, passion, energy mantra, because I want my players to have it, but I want the right, again, to show fire, passion, and energy on the sidelines.
And again, I don't want to throw Carson under the bus too much with that, because there were so many odd things going on that year. But I do agree that not seeing Kirby, like there were times with Stetson Bennett where it was like, my God, he must hate that guy.
Dude, the time Stetson dove into an end zone and scored with one hand on the ball.
That was 2020 too.
And he came off the field.
No, it wasn't.
And he got absolutely chewed. It was against Tennessee, I thought. Mm-hmm. It was a big-time football game. I mean, he just absolutely tore into that dude.
Tennessee was when he put the two hands.
Yeah, Tennessee was when he put two hands on the ball. Thank goodness he did.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing that the last 2 years. And in my opinion, that's who that guy coaches with an edge. Mm-hmm. He's supposed to. Mm-hmm. That's when he's at his best.
I think the only time I saw Kirby Smart even getting like elevated and frustrated, like very visibly, like with Carson Beck, was ironically after he got hurt in the SEC championship, after they're walking off the field and as they're, going into the tunnel. Because he even did it in the interview. It was like, hey, Kirby, what happened at that Carson Beck injury, everything? He's like, he's got to know where the pressure's at. He's got to get rid of that ball sooner. And like, you could tell him he was like chewing Carson Beck out as he's walking off the field with the trainer. So very obvious of that.
All right, so speaking of the quarterback position and Carson Beck, he was asked recently about the differences between Miami and Georgia with regards to practice. And here's his quote. Obviously Coach Cristobal was at Alabama with Coach Saban, as was Coach Smart. A lot of those guys that are in that tree run their practices the same exact way. It's the same intensity. It's the same practice script. I remember last night I'm going over the script and what we're doing going throughout practice, the plays, the different periods. It was literally copy and paste. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure there's a lot of schools around the country that their fall camp all look the same. When I read this, what it reminded me is that Yes, a lot of college football programs practice the same way. Everyone copies what they like. It's a copycat sport. They're stealing from other people because they like it. They're taking it, bringing it to their program, and it ultimately makes everybody kind of do the same thing across the industry. But it also reminded me that I feel like most people that even listen to our podcast and our show don't really know how a college football team practices. Like, Jonathan, I don't mean to do this to you. Do you know how it's broken down? Like what's actually going down in a practice, how it's supposed to look?
I could give you a very broad description of what happens.
You from high school backgrounds, how high school
I would imagine it's warm-ups, indie, some team.
Let's do it instead of just...
That's what I would say.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the board today, and we're going to have basically a coaches meeting right now on how practice is designed, all right? And now, this is not universal, but I did sit in about 16 of these meetings this spring, and every day before practice, all of these organizations sit down, they talk about how practice is about to go, and this is what it sounds like. So welcome in to our war room. This is, I guess, our football team is the Film Guy Network. We got a big game coming up this week or this month. We got fall camp going on right now. We got practice coming up today, and it's a competitive practice. All right, so let's get to the board.
Before you go to the board, we have a super chub that you might want to...
Yeah, my man, read that out to me right quick if you don't mind.
James Frank says...
James Franco's listening?
Not James Franco.
Can I ask, what was it like to film that scene where you sawed your arm off?
I think James
Dude,
Franklin
that scene was crazy. Anyways, James Frank, what's up, dudes? Best show out. Saw 3 different GA podcasts in the past week, and they all praise FGN. Dang, so we're getting through the channels now.
We're getting love from the ops?
Sounds that way.
I have misplaced my silver Sharpie here, boys. We're going to have to buy new ones anyways.
I think it's costed.
All right, so James Frank, it might be over there. We'll find it anyways. Remind me to write down James Frank. My ADD brain's going crazy. I can't even find my board pin either. Oh my gosh, guys. I had it pre-show. Where'd it go?
I don't know.
I'm not doing this with my finger on the board. I'll tell you that right now.
Do you need a specific pen?
No, yeah, it's the board pen. Don't worry about it. I'll do it with my finger. What's up, Jonathan?
No, you're good.
Something?
Here, you go start.
Oh, I know where it's at. It's in my notebook. How about that? I tried to make myself pre-planned here. All right, so here we go. Practice periods. All right, so today we have a 20-period practice. These practice periods are broken down in 5-minute increments. Every time the horn goes off at practice, we are switching practice periods, okay? Here's the thing you got to know. Practice periods might say we're 1 through 20 today, but there's a pre-practice period at every university that takes up about 30 minutes, okay? Our pre-practice here at the University of the Film Guy, all right, our pre-practice is essentially indie, okay? I want you to get our guys warmed up. Listen to me, coaches. I want you guys to get guys warmed up with individual movements, okay? My offensive lineman, I want you going through steps on the board. All right, my DBs, I want you going through key steps. All right, wide receivers, routes on air. Quarterbacks, routes on air. Quarterbacks, that means you need to get out there early, get your arms warmed up. I want QC exchange done before pre-practice as well. We understand, coaches. All right, so we got that going on in pre-practice. We're going to use that as not only as a 15-minute individual period, all right, but also, again, to get guys back hot and warmed up, getting ready to go. First 2 periods, all right, strength and conditioning coordinator. We got flex going on, whatever that is. However y'all get warmed up at your university, it is what it is. 9 times out of 10 nowadays, it is a dynamic warm-up. We are not static stretching. Okay, we're talking about high knees, A skips, B skips, C skips, okay, Frankensteins, all the good stuff. I want you moving the body for a good 10 minutes. We should be nice and hot after this 15-minute pre-practice period and this 10-minute flex period. I don't want to hear nobody any excuses. I'm not ready for practice. We got 25 minutes. We ought to be hot, ready to go. All right, periods 3 through 4. All right, I want jog throughs. Keyword jog throughs, gentlemen. We are not walking through anywhere during practice today. I want you to go through your first team period, individual or team script. I want you to walk through with your team, offense, defense, go separate sides of the field, walk through the script, not walk through, jog through. I want you guys half speed going through the plays that you're ultimately going to run in our first competitive period, which, by the way, is going to be P and 10. We'll talk about that in a second. Hey, pay attention to me now. Periods 5 here at this network is special teams. Y'all get 5 minutes. Special teams units, y'all get 5 minutes. All right, during the special teams unit, I want O-line, D-line, all my biggins that aren't on special teams, not on punt, not on punt return, not on kickoff, not on kickoff return. I want you guys going down there, taking that 5 minutes, getting set up for Indies. Maybe give the big boys some water, whatever you need to do. Take your 5 minutes, coaches. Do what you got to do. Hey, periods 6 through 9. Jonathan, here in a second, I'm going to need you to scroll me down. Periods 6 through 9. All my skill guys, I want y'all 7 on 7, okay? I want 7 on 7. Figure out how you want to script that up, make it competitive. Hey, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, y'all figure out what y'all want to do. If y'all want to work on quarters, concepts defensively, however y'all want to do it, figure it out. Y'all talk about it. Same thing with you offensive, defensive line, guys. I want y'all in one-on-ones. Now, here's the deal, coaches. Y'all tell me what you want to do, okay? Because there's 20 minutes over there. Offensive line, defensive line. We got a lot of team and competition today. I don't want y'all banging and clanging for 20 minutes. If y'all want to spend 10 minutes doing walkthrough steps, boards, I don't care. If you want to go 20 minutes banging and clanging, that's fine. If you want to split them up, do half line, go ahead. If you want to do one-on-ones, that's fine. What do you want to do, Coach?
Oh, we're banging and clanging.
Banging and clanging. Hey, that means we're going half line. I want 3 offensive linemen, 2 defensive linemen, okay, running offensive line, or whether it be pass, run, doesn't matter. Y'all mix up the looks, then get some good one-on-one, good-on-good opportunities. Hey, let's roll the script down right quick. Give me periods 10 through 11 there, assistant. All right, periods 10 through 11. Scroll me up just a tad. All right, here we go. Periods 10 through 11 right here on the script. Okay, or excuse me. 10 through 12. All right, we got a 3-period block, 15 minutes. We got P and 10, our first team period, if you will. All right, we got offense and defense. Here's the deal, though. We're going to go 2 platoon here, guys. We're going to split the teams up because we're a big Power 4 staff, and we got 75 coaches out here today, and we need to get reps in. It's fall camp. I want the 1s and the 3s on field 1. Okay, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, you figure out how you want to split up coaches. Okay, I want 2s and 4s on field 2. All right, it's P and 10, first and 10, first play of the possession. Okay, it's a competitive period. Whichever group gets the most yardage, whoever wins, whatever, we'll do up downs. All right, we'll figure out how we want to punish the losers, how we want to punish the losers. After that, all right, by the way, get water as you go. We ain't breaking out 5 minutes to get water. Hell all with that. You come off the sideline, get a squirt, do whatever you got to do. Ought to be hydrated before practice. All right, after that, we're going into third down period. Okay, same thing. I want it split up 2 platoon. This time I want 1s and 4s over here, and I want 2s and 3s down there on field 2 competing. Guys, I want a lot of eyes on this group right here. I want a lot of eyes on this group right here. Okay, it's 3rd and long today, not 3rd and short. Obvious pass down period. Ought to give those big guys an opportunity to maybe not bang and clang so much. All right, we've been doing a lot of running today, a lot of inside, a lot of one-on-ones, a lot of hitting with all these big boys. Okay, so in that 3rd and long period, let's get an opportunity to get them into a kick set, pass set situation. Scroll down for me here, assistant. We're going periods 16 through 20, the meat of the schedule right here, if you will, okay? We got a big-time team period, good on good right here, ladies and gentlemen. Good on good to round out the day. All right, we got good on good. All right, we're going to move the ball in good on good, by the way, guys. All right, so as the play happens, we're going to move the ball down the field. All right, feel free, script that how you want. Maybe call it from the hip, actually. Check that. Offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, y'all calling that live. All right, I don't want you going in that with a pre-script. I want you to get practice there as well with your play calling. Do we all understand?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Is it a tight script? We like it?
Draws and screens only.
Hell yeah.
Draws and screens only.
Draws and screens only is crazy work. So that's how practice works. And by the way, that's how those meetings work too. Buddy sounds like he is on the sauce. You know what I mean? He's rattling it off at 120 miles an hour.
I feel good. I haven't heard that and stuff in a while.
How much of that do you think flew over the head of the general chat?
Honestly,
solid.
practice layouts aren't that hard to follow. It's more the terminologies of P and 10 and good on good. And
First play of possession, I thought I explained that.
Yeah, no, but like stuff like that might be hard to keep up with. But other than that, like it's fairly straightforward. Like the periods are what you are dedicated times to certain drills.
We didn't have an opportunity to get inside run in the mix today. We'll probably have to do that tomorrow. You know, we'll see what we got going on.
You can take out the special teams time if you want.
I mean,
it is your program.
We're putting dudes on those units anyway, so we're just hunting. You know, that's all. Just follow ball, see ball, get ball. Ain't that hard. Get a good punter. Hang time's important. All that good stuff. All right, that was fun.
That was fun.
I can't wait to run one of those meetings one day. Oh, it's gonna be awesome. Season predictions.
Let's hit them.
All right.
Ooh, I don't like this.
What's up? You nervous?
I just know what I'm going to say, and I know how the chat's. I know the chat's going to react to it. So
get the tomatoes ready, boys.
I don't like this at all. All right, let's go game by game through this slate right here and talk about these here football games on Georgia's schedule this season. Nice and simple. Marshall and Austin Peay, couple of dubs to start the season. All right, there's no doubt about that. But what is major key in these first two football games is that they handle their business, right? We talked so much this offseason about trying to watch the young guys and being like, bro, no tape.
None.
No tape on the young guys.
It was Tennessee Tech.
It was Tennessee Tech. That was it. You didn't handle business against UMass. You didn't handle business against, sorry to do this, Mississippi State. You didn't handle business, sorry to do this, against Kentucky. You didn't handle business in football games that in years prior, you had opportunities midway through the fourth quarter to get to some opportunities. I think you got to handle it.
I think the 2s and 3s got more reps against Clemson than they did any other game in the season.
Yeah.
Like usually like Georgia Tech is a game where you can get some 2s in. Obviously Mississippi State, those types of teams are the opportunities for it. Did not happen last year, and I think it hurt you in the end.
All right, let's move right on to Tennessee. First road game of the year. First road game in Gunnar Stockton's career.
Yeah. Did you do score predictions for these games? Or?
No.
Okay,
just wins and losses.
Okay.
I'm not doing score predictions till we get to week of.
Fair.
On to that Tennessee football game. I have been very adamant. You're going to hear constant themes in these picks from me personally. I will not pick Tennessee to ever beat Georgia until it happens. I firmly believe that if any football program in the world has an answer for Tennessee's offensive scheme, it's Georgia, and it's only because of personnel decisions that they have made year over year, time after time, recruit class after recruit class. They are a big bodied box, and you just don't run the football against them successfully. So I will pick Georgia until it stops or until I'm proven wrong in doing so. I don't think Tennessee scores enough points in that football game to win.
No, I think too, like something that we didn't even mention during the national hour when we were talking about Tennessee is that there's questions about the wide receiver room, but they are banged up at wide receiver right now. Mike Matthews is already missing time. Brazel is missing time as well. Like they have like 4 healthy guys right now in the wide receiver room. Like the other day, they had
2 of them are freshmen.
So they're not getting a whole bunch of reps right now because they are banged up. You get Tennessee early on in the season as well. And I think Georgia still definitely has the personnel to where they can play Tennessee how they want to. So those things combined, I just don't see this being a favorable early matchup for Tennessee.
Your prediction's very akin to mine in that you're not picking Tennessee until they do it.
Yeah.
I'm not picking Tennessee to score 20 points against Georgia until they do it.
That's exactly what I wrote. The only route to Georgia losing this is they're incapable of scoring 20.
Exactly, and I don't see that. That's why, as hostile as that environment's going to be, as much as it might lead to some mistakes by Gunnar Stockton, as you know, as much as there might be a big momentum play for Tennessee to swing, I don't see an avenue where Georgia gets held to under 23 points in this game.
So we all got them 3-0 going into the bye week, waiting on Alabama to come to town.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you guys know how I am with this. I will not pick Georgia in the regular season against Alabama until it happens.
Understandable.
So I think that's the analysis.
Lame.
Sorry.
It's fair.
Lame analysis.
I get it. I mean, it is one of the, you're 1-9 the last 10 matchups.
But here's the real analysis, okay? And it's why I think it's a bad matchup for Georgia. Georgia this year, their success offensively, in my opinion, will be dependent, not solely, but will be dependent on running the football. Mm-hmm. Will you be able to run the ball successfully in order to open up play action, all that good stuff, deep shot, all that good stuff? If anybody's personnel department or personnel on paper is big enough to stop Georgia consistently right now off rip on paper, it's Alabama's.
Most definitely. I mean, it's all, look, there's all great reasons to be there. And Kirby Smart will never tell you that they have games circled. Georgia players always say, oh, we're always focused on next week. They've got this game circled. This is a very, very important game to them. It's coming off of the bye week. They are going to be repping Alabama come Marshall week, come Austin Peay week. They're going to be mixing it in half and half.
It should be noted for people who don't know. I know you guys do. Bama's off the bye week too.
Yes.
So there's no advantage here.
No,
both teams coming off byes.
I think that the slight, and now both teams get this, but I think that there is a slight advantage too of like neither one of these teams are going to be coming in not knowing the other quarterback. Because, well, maybe to an extent for Alabama because of Georgia's, but they played Tennessee the week before, so no, it's a moot point. But Alabama has formidable opponents before Georgia. So like you're going to get a look at both of these quarterbacks, what they're trying to do with them offensively. So I don't even think you can have that in this discussion either. I just think that like for me, it's been since 2015. I feel like this game has been like boiling up for Georgia fans. Like the next time that they get Alabama in Sanford Stadium, and like when Sanford Stadium gets one of those moments, gets one of those games, you can't tell me that it's not impactful. I mean, there is legitimate data between, like, I think Georgia over the last 4 years at Sanford Stadium has created more false starts than any other program in college football. Like that's a legitimate advantage for them. I just think that the environment, everything, like to what Kirby said, like this is going to be one of those circled matchups, but it is for both teams. That's why I'm going to say right now today that Georgia is going to win that.
I'm going
taking
Georgia.
You're taking Georgia. I'm taking Bama. We're all taking Georgia over Kentucky.
Yeah.
Mark Stoops don't have a prayer.
This is in Athens, all right? We got to worry about
Kentucky and Athens never works.
I mean, you can 100% bet that they're going to cover with a late touchdown, but outside of that.
For as much as you can guarantee that Georgia will struggle in Lexington, you can guarantee they beat the shit out of they beat the hell. Can we say hell?
Yeah.
They beat the hell out of Kentucky and Athens.
Dude. Absolutely.
Sorry.
Beat the Wildcat poopy out.
Was that the first one of the night?
I think so.
Damn.
No, I dropped the shit earlier.
You dropped the shit?
Yeah, I dropped the shit earlier.
Man.
That's all.
During the live stream?
Guys, we're trying. We're making concerted efforts.
We're doing our best.
Yeah. I think we're getting better about it.
For sure.
Yeah. I think it's a habit I'm going to have to break.
I think the decrease in F-bombs has been...
I also think that we have gotten to a point in our show where we feel most comfortable almost riffing, at times just being our true selves.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, it's an error in my own personal morality.
Yeah.
I swear.
To be honest with you, when the cameras go off, we say bad words.
Yeah, me say bad words. We all got a dub at Kentucky. We all got a dub at Auburn.
I think so, right, Kirby?
Yeah, right, Kirby? We all got a dub at Auburn, right? I know. Hey, spooky stadium. Good roster. Hugh Freeze does kind of get together a game plan every once in a while. Hugh Freeze does a really, really good job of losing this one close. But, you know, what you got going on, Curb?
I went into this schedule and looked at it saying, you have program record win streaks against Georgia Tech, Auburn, Florida, Tennessee. There's a lot of them this year. I don't see an avenue where you make it out of this season with this schedule continuing all of those records. So if I had to pick one, I would say it's probably going to be Auburn against a Hugh Freeze team that has shown you that they can give you everything you want to handle in this environment in a very difficult stadium. So I am picking Auburn to win this game.
Breaking news, Christian Kirby says Brock Bowers ain't coming through that door.
That is a fact. Brock Bowers is not on your team this year.
Drew Bobo is, though.
Drew Bobo is on that team, though.
Damn, I'm getting my fandom question now. I knew this was going to happen, dude.
I mean, that's like I should say the boldest, but like of all the games to pick a loss, that's certainly one of them that you're going to ruffle some feathers. That's okay. I want you to be honest. If that's how you honestly feel, I'm okay with it. You
don't think by like the 19th time they run the same RPO that it's going to get picked off in an important situation?
It should.
Might. If statistically likely.
If in, what was it, May of 2023, I'd sat there and you were like, you think Peyton Thorne's going to have a 60-yard run against that defense?
That's fair.
Oh, yeah.
There were very much things that happened in that game where, like,
I also felt like they were sleepwalking as a football team last year against Auburn.
For sure.
So, we'll see. I got it as a dub. Kirby, thinks Georgia's terrible. Ole Miss at home. I'm picking Georgia in this one based solely off the Ole Miss don't travel well.
I was about to say, remember the stat.
Yeah, Ole Miss.
They do not travel well.
You get this game at home, you got a chance to win it, and historically win it big.
Yeah, Ole Miss doesn't travel well. Kirby does not like losing to Lane Kiffin. I can guarantee you that. And coming off of a loss to Auburn, this team's going to be fired up. They're going to beat Ole Miss.
That's crazy. They're calling you AJC Kirby in the chat.
Oh, come on, guys.
That's nuts. It's a respectable brand.
Yeah, I mean, one of the bigger journalism brands in the state of Georgia.
They're connected with some good people.
I'll take it.
Yeah, they got good folk.
I'll take AJC Kirby.
Yeah, the offense doesn't travel well. Also, I don't think they got the defensive firepower this year to be out.
No, I mean, that defensive line last year just shredded Georgia for 4 quarters.
And, if I'm pull a Tennessee fan here, who'd you say if it wasn't raining during that game, Georgia doesn't win? So All right, come on, man.
I think a solid footing would have created more setback on that offensive line.
Yeah.
A good get off would have been even worse for Georgia's.
Don't think holding on to the football was an issue or anything like that.
Yeah, no. That was, we can't block these dudes today.
Oh, yeah.
For 4 quarters.
No, they could
That was
not.
a tough game, but no, that won't happen this year. Georgia will be ready, and
We got a clean sweep.
Yeah.
Everybody's got Georgia in this football game. Austin Simmons wild card though. I think by the time there's an opportunity of all these games that we're picking today, there's an opportunity that my feeling on that football game changes drastically by the time it actually arrives.
Well, I think that there's like at this point in the season, I think there's multiple. Like, I think that your opinion or even our opinion could change about Auburn. Your opinion on Ole Miss could change. Your opinion on Florida, who we're going to talk about next, could change. There's several games right here that very easily could change.
Fresh off a bye week, you go down to Jacksonville annually and take on Florida. I think at this point in the season, Florida is one of 2 places: in shambles or a real tough out.
yeah,
No in between.
And I kind of wanted to like think that okay, Florida's going to be the team that gets you this year, and then my mind went to this is a November game. We have no idea. What is DJ Lagway going to look like? Is DJ Lagway going to play in this game because of health? Like, I mean, we saw it last year. Like, Florida fans will tell you Florida would have won that game if DJ Lagway didn't get hurt. Reality was he is. DJ Lagway gets hurt a good bit. I can't promise that he's going to be available for this game, so I'm going to pick Georgia, but it would be a close game.
What I don't think would be a good recipe for success against Georgia for DJ Lagway in Florida is kind of showing the same things that they did on tape last year for DJ Lagway and asking him to do difficult things against a defense that we are assuming is going to be really good. I think that simplifying things might be a little bit better, but like if they're asking DJ Lagway to make the throw like every other down, I just don't see that being a recipe for success.
And let's not act like DJ Lagway was torching Georgia last year. It
was one throw, really.
He had a really good throw on a play action.
Guys, it only takes like 5 of those throws to lose a football game.
For sure.
How often does Georgia give up 5 of those?
He hit one of them in 6 attempts.
Okay.
He takes 30 of them a game.
That was like his
statistically proven he gonna hit.
That was like his second completion. Like he was.
But that's their offense.
I get it.
Their offense is chunk plays through the pass.
Okay.
That's what they do. So explosive plays will get you beat. And if that guy is throwing the ball like he's supposed to, he's scary.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that DJ Lagway was like
definitely respect him as a passer.
Also, we also have to remember your quarterback was, wetting down his leg. If all of the games where Carson was like, "What is this?"
Bro was letting it rip.
Bro was like, "Whoa."
Unconscious and a bad kind of unconscious.
You know when you're playing one of those video games and you're down by so much, you're just like, I don't care anymore. I'm just going to throw it.
Yes.
That's how Carson Beck was playing.
Yes. Absolutely. Like when you're playing NASCAR when you're a kid. Y'all play NASCAR? Getting your brains beat in by your best friend, so you just turn around and try to hit him. Yeah, that's basically the style. But no, I got a win over Florida. We all got wins.
Yeah, win over Florida.
Now I want to say this about that game. That's a run football game. Mm-hmm. Whoever wins the ground game in that one statistically wins it every year.
And definitely this year too. These are 2 teams that have good running backs, are going to be relying on the run game.
And if I told you Florida outrushed Georgia this year, would you be shocked?
Not like completely shocked.
They're going to be able to run the football, I think. Unless they have a walk, Harrison Bailey or a walk-on playing quarterback, then they're going to struggle to move the football. But if DJ Lagway is healthy, I think they're going to be able to run the rock. At Mississippi State, Georgia steamroll.
Should be.
I hope so.
Be. All right, so we got them 1 loss right here, or at least I do. You don't. They're still undefeated with Jay Will.
Oh, yeah, they're still undefeated for me.
Undefeated with Jay Will, and you got them losing to Auburn.
1 loss.
They beat Alabama, which, okay. Texas, what do y'all got going on this?
For me, and I think that this season for me is you go 1-1 against Texas and Alabama. I think that that's the scenario I see. Now, there is certainly a chance that you do potentially go undefeated with the schedule, but I think that you're going to go 1-1 against one of those teams. So for that reason, I have Georgia beating Alabama earlier in the year. I have them losing to Texas, and I've said this before about this football game. I think that this could very easily be the deciding factor for the SEC championship game. It could also be that both teams are going to play again in Atlanta very shortly after this football game, but I think that this game will be like whoever wins this game is locked in for this conference championship game. So the stakes are going to be huge, and you're also going to play Texas at a point in time where Arch Manning has a ton of reps behind it. Like, this is not going to be some slightly inexperienced quarterback at all by this point. So I think that you're going to get Texas at full strength at this point in the year, and I think that Steve Sarkisian, while he didn't have much success last year against Georgia's defense, I think after seeing it for a third time this year in less than a year, I think he's going to get some shots against you. I think he's going to have some
third
success.
time's the charm.
I think it potentially could be. I think for an offensive mind like that, like,
I don't think it is.
well, I think like for like I thought this way a little bit about Lane Kiffin last year. Like, he saw it multiple times against Georgia, and then he finally got them. And now it was at the hands of a really good defense, but they're moving the ball pretty effectively. So I feel that way about Steve Sarkisian, like a really good offensive mind. It just feels like there's going to be a time where he's going to get you. Like, he's going to have that great game plan. He's going to be able to put together the perfect game plan. I think it could be one of those games.
I just feel like, having watched both of those defensive performances, by the way, same exact game plan, in my opinion. Now, Schumann might feel differently, but I felt like Georgia came out 2 times in a row against Texas and basically said this right here. Early downs, we're playing a 50 down front. We're going to put 5 guys on the offensive line's front. We're going to make sure you cannot run stretch zone around our wide nines. Okay, so we're going to take care of that. Did it both football games. I felt like rendered them inefficient in the run game on first and second down. You can throw whatever box score stat at me you want to. I'm telling you what the film says and how they got to the victory. All right, now, pass-wise, all right, all they did was mix middle field coverage, middle field open, middle field close the entire football game. They played a lot of like single high, and then the moment they didn't play single high, playing a little bit of two high back there, mixing that coverage like we talked about with stopping Texas is what is required. I saw them repeat game plans twice, and Sark have no answer for them. So Sark gave them 8 quarters and couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, and now I do want to put like a caveat on the SEC championship game, because I do feel like both teams kind of unspokenly were like, we're not going to take anything new out of the box for this, because this is a game that, in theory, we'll say whatever we want in front of the podium, does not matter. Either one of us can lose this game. Now, Kirby calling a fake punt kind of throws that theory down the toilet, but to your point, I don't think either of them tried anything super new. It's kind of just, all right, we're going to line up and play and see if we can beat them with our schemes.
I mean, I'd have to go back and look. How many times did Texas run that bluff screen that they damn near scored on?
I don't remember.
You know what play?
Yeah, I know exactly.
But also,
they tried to run it first play of the game.
Also,
and it got tipped by Michael Williams.
to your point, also, Kirby did admit to saying this game did not matter.
Yeah.
He straight up said after the game.
Yeah.
He was like, and he said, that's why I called the fake punt, because I kind of knew in the back of my mind, if it doesn't work out, we're going to be okay regardless.
So with that, I would say that Texas last year, I feel like, for as much as a Steve Sarkisian offense is very good, for as much as, you know, we talked about, I mean, that team went to the Final Four last year, the offense didn't feel as dangerous. They had a good running game, but the running back room was banged up last year. They had a good quarterback, but he wasn't exactly mobile, might have had some arm limitations, might have been battling an injury throughout the season. I feel like Texas's offense, it might not be as talented, it might not be as name heavy this year, it will be more dangerous. And I think that is the issue that you're going to run into with Georgia's defense. And for as much as we talk about how, you know, Georgia's tired of Alabama having their number, Texas is a little bit tired of that. Now, it's only been one season, it was 2 games, but you lose twice to one team in the same season, it gets frustrating, and you definitely say, all right, that's a team I want to beat this year. Texas will place emphasis on it.
Are you picking Texas to win?
Yeah.
Is that what you just did?
I'm as it stands
now they have
right.
2 losses?
Correct.
Okay.
Win streak against Auburn ends, and the home win streak ends.
That in
Man,
fairness,
just killing.
and if you want to talk about consistency, I did say Georgia's home win streak ends this season. So,
Charlotte dub.
yeah,
Man, we were 12 months away from seeing the Poge in real life.
dude, that makes me so sad.
It makes me pissed.
I would have
12
brought
months.
him an ice cream.
Honestly, we should invite him and offer to pay for his flight, even though Lord knows that millionaire doesn't need
Brooks,
What's he doing
You can't
now?
do that.
it. Dude, he's back managing a hedge fund, I would imagine.
No, Brooks, we can't invite him to this matchup late November because he is part of Michigan's football staff, and they have a 9th conference game to play.
That's right.
So we can't take him away from that 9th conference game
right.
against Iowa late in the season, because that is one of the most important football games of the entire year. So while Georgia gets to lollygag around and play Charlotte after going through the schedule that we just rattled off, asking a coach to step away from a 9th conference game is just it's insane.
I don't know.
Way too much.
I wouldn't
to
be
ask.
too sure about lollygagging, guys.
Do you think they let him cut the sleeves off up there in Michigan?
I hope so. I need Biff Poggi late November with snow falling in the cutoff.
Sleeveless Poggi in late November, like get frostbite. But no, I think Charlotte beats
Cutting
Georgia.
diamonds out there, brother. Georgia Tech.
No one got that.
You said Charlotte.
I said Charlotte. Georgia's not losing to Charlotte, guys. Trust me.
Georgia Tech. I think they got something for Georgia Tech this year.
Yeah,
I just got a feeling.
This is a weird. Last year was such a weird game. Mm-hmm. I've never seen a team come out flatter and somehow win that football game. Like, that was 3.5 quarters of like, oh, I guess they're playing now. And then a miracle fumble puts you into an overtime that we know how that ends up. I don't think Kirby's going to let that happen again. But on the adverse, like, as heartbroken as Georgia Tech fans were last year, as much as Brent Key and you know, Haynes King was talking about, I'm tired of losing these guys crying after the game. Like, Tech's going to have that one circled. I don't think they're going to win the game, but Tech will give Georgia a fight, or try to give Georgia a fight.
I'll say this first. I think it's the right decision for them to do this, but I think putting this game in Mercedes-Benz was one of the worst mistakes for them. Like, as far like I understand
they changed
why.
the name.
No, they didn't. They can say they changed the name. They did not change the name.
Yeah, they're official. Like, the official name of it this year is the Invesco,
the Atlanta Gridiron matchup or something like that.
Yeah, like it's not that clean old fashioned hate.
It's not that. It's clean old fashioned hate.
They sold the name to the rivalry.
I don't know.
I guess it's like for this
I think the
year.
Benz has put a new name on the rivalry. But again, like,
well, when they make the deal to try to drum up revenue for the stadium, and you can't get enough ticket sales because it's Georgia Tech football, no offense, but it's Georgia Tech football, then you have to do something to recoup the revenue. Mm-hmm. So you have to sell the naming rights to the game. That's got to be the first regular season game to ever have its naming rights sold.
I would guess so.
It has to be.
And again, I don't know what the naming rights for a game are, because I don't know if you own that or if it's just the nickname for it.
Plus, how does that work? Because Georgia Tech is the one that did it. So, like, is it only that when Georgia Tech gets the game? But next year...
No, it's only that in that stadium.
Yeah. Well, I think what it is that the game that's being played there is being titled as such by the venue that's hosting it. Like the Aflac kickoff game that they hold in the Brenz. Like, that's what, you know... Like, they call, like, Clemson and Georgia has a rivalry nickname. I don't remember what it is, but like, it was called the Aflac kickoff game that year. So I think that's where it's going with that.
All right, so to recap right here, I've got Georgia winning their first 2 weeks of the season, obviously against Marshall and Austin Peay. I've got them taking a win on the road, going into the bye week 3-0 after a win in Knoxville against Tennessee. I've got them losing after the bye week at home to Alabama. I've got them beating Kentucky in big fashion at home, as they usually do in the Mark Stoops era. I've got them at Auburn, winning a close one in a very spooky stadium that seems to give Georgia problems out there every time they go out there. Ole Miss, I could feel very differently about this midway through the season, considering what's going to happen with Austin Simmons, depending on what happens with Austin Simmons, who I think is immensely talented. But that being said, I don't think Ole Miss's offense travels very well historically. Getting this game at home lets me know that I feel safe picking Georgia in that one. Bye week, headed down to Florida. I got them winning that one again for what, the 9th year in a row? How many times is that? Our 5th year in a row against the Florida Gators. I got them beating Mississippi State in massive fashion. I've got them beating Texas at home because they are solid defensively against that Steve Sarkisian unit. I've got them beating Charlotte and beating Georgia Tech for a season-ending record of 11-1. I'll go ahead and tell you, preseason, I'm predicting Texas to beat them in the SEC championship game in a rematch.
So, obviously, that's an SEC championship team. Is 10-2 enough, you think?
I don't know. I don't know if 10-2. I think 10-2's got you in some type of tiebreaker to get in the SEC.
I mean, 10-2 wasn't enough last year until Alabama and Texas A&M. Absolutely.
The real question is, if you're 10-2, do you even want to go?
This was the discussion.
Doesn't play.
This was the discussion we had last year. And look, for all reasons, if
you don't play, Carson Beck's in the playoff with you.
Mm-hmm.
Does that change much about that Notre Dame game?
Probably not. It might change who you get. You might be on that Ohio State side of that bracket anyways. You might have gotten throttled.
Yeah, might have.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we know that. We know Kirby definitely wants to play in it. He loves the SEC championship games.
Does he?
He says he does.
He says he does.
He talked that talk.
Does Kirby Smart?
I think he does.
I think he does.
I mean,
why would he lie about liking
He made coaching decisions last year to win that game.
This is true.
He went out of his way to win that football game. So I felt like, it does matter to him.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, said like the game really didn't matter, and we were playing with house money.
Afterwards.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think Kirby Smart cares about every game he plays in and wants to win it, but I remember last year watching the Texas A&M and Auburn game and be like cheering for Texas A&M, like, no, please do not get upset by Auburn.
Well, there's definitely fans that don't want to play in that game.
All right.
Especially with this year where the seeding isn't
Straight up.
It's straight up seeding. Like, you can win the title and you're not even guaranteed to bye. So yeah, I don't want to play in the SEC championship.
All right, keys to your prediction. You've got them 10-2. We've got them 11-1. My keys to the prediction, I got 3 of them. I think the number one key to Georgia offensively this year, apart from running the football successfully, which I should say is number 1. The number 2 key to Georgia this year, in my prediction, is whether or not Ryan Puglisi, they feel like, is good enough to let him play. And the reason that's important is because I am of the belief that Gunnar Stockton is only going to be Gunnar Stockton if he's able to play like a linebacker. If he's able to go out there and you can say, hey, buddy, play balls to the wall today. We got you behind you. If you get hurt, we're okay. But if they've got to do this thing like they did in 2019, the last time I remember it, and 2020, where Jake Fromm's their quarterback, or 2019, it's like, hey, Jake, if you get hurt, we're screwed. So don't you dare go take off running.
We got to play this guy named Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, who's a walk-on. We're and wearing number 22. If he's got to play, we're in trouble. So Jake, be careful. If they've got to apply that same process with Gunnar because they don't know if they're quite ready, Puglisi's not quite ready to go. If we play him, we're not quite. If that's the situation, I don't know if Gunnar's his true self. This guy's got to be able to go out and play with free will and free reign. Also, on top of that, it's all offensively to me. I think they're going to be Georgia defensively. They're a top 25 unit as long as Glenn Schumann's breathing. I know last year was an anomaly, but look at the schedule. All right, especially the road games in that schedule. But no, I think they're going to be who they are defensively. Are they able to run the ball? And is the wide receiver corps finally what they are on paper?
That's a great one. One of my major keys to this is not having to get punched in the face before you start playing a football game. I've hammered that statistic numerous times. The Clemson game, the Alabama game, the Florida game, the Georgia Tech game. There's a handful that you can think of to where it felt like Georgia was kind of sleepwalking until they woke up and said, oh, we're down 3-10 at halftime. Or, oh, we're down 2 scores. I guess we need to start playing football. It felt like more than ever Georgia was playing catch-up. That does not need to happen this year. And I think if it doesn't, if you prevent that and you start early on teams, this team will be very, very successful. I have them. That's why I have you beating Alabama. That's why I have you going making an SEC title game most likely. But I think the main indicator of that is if you are able to play 60 minutes of football without having to go, oh yeah, we're playing a football game now. Like that is such an important aspect, I think, that gets overlooked.
I think that my first one is going to sound so basic, and it's because it is, but it's something that Georgia didn't exactly do last year. I think you have to be consistently great at both running the football and stopping the run this year. I mean, that feels like something that Georgia has always done, but last year was not one of those cases, and I think that it got them in some sticky situations last year, and I think it definitely resulted in you losing some football games last year. Number 2, it can be boiled down to something way simpler, but I'm going to put it as this. There is no jumping off sides on 3rd and short anymore, and there are no false starts on 4th and short this year. Just be disciplined. You got to be disciplined in the moments that it is required. You have to. These are the must-cannot do's. We can't have those moments anymore this year. You can't be doing things like that. Things that we know, you expect Georgia, no way one of their players does that in one of those moments. Can't have that this year.
Yeah, that was the second. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, if you had more than
my second one was get back to it's kind of piggybacking off yours. Get back to playing Georgia football. You don't have to have a smothering defense. You don't have to have a high flying offense. You don't have to have a savvy underdog quarterback. I felt like more so than ever last year, teams out Georgia in that they out disciplined you, they out executed you, and the margins when it mattered most, they performed better. It's why, you've pointed out.
I thought Ole Miss brought the physicality to you.
Yeah, even that.
Ole Miss brought punching gloves to you, and you were not ready.
Even that, so many instances last year where I think Georgia was one of the most penalized teams they've ever been under Kirby Smart. Minor things like that to where you can point to and say, oh, the wide receiver drops, and oh, the quarterback was bad, and oh, we couldn't run the football, and the defense was bad in first half starts. I think all of that gets handled if you just get back to playing the most consistent version of. If you're the most consistent team on the field for 12 weeks in a row, there's no reason why you can't win all of your games.
Peyton Murray says Georgia has on paper the best wide receiver corps in football this year. No, they do not. It would be Ohio State.
Unfortunately, a bar.
They're good.
Just to let y'all know, the old-fashioned Passion Hate game is not sponsored.
It's not sponsored. It's not been sold. It's just been renamed by the.
That's what I'm saying. I think Mercedes. I think Arthur Blank and Mercedes-Benz was just like, we're gonna call this the Atlanta Gridiron matchup or whatever.
Yeah, it's the Invesco QQQ Gridiron matchup in Atlanta. I don't know why.
Piggybacking off of what I was saying about consistently being great at running the football, Nate Frazier has to be a guy this year.
Yeah.
Clean up the fumbles. Ball security, baby, high and tight. Got to keep it like that. So I think Nate Frazier has to be like a cornerstone of this offense. I think he has to be one of the biggest difference makers for them. And then continuing on difference makers, I think Kristen Miller and CJ Allen have to be up for national awards at the end of the year. Those are the types of seasons that Georgia needs out of those two guys, where CJ Allen is a finalist for the Butt Kiss and Kristen Miller is a finalist for All-American, all those things. Like, those are the types of seasons that you need out of those two guys, because they are, I think, going to be your two biggest difference makers, and they need to play like it. They need to play like they are potential first-round picks next year.
All right. Do we have nostalgic tape?
I've got one more.
Okay,
I've got one more key to it. Fixing but maintaining certain areas of special teams. I don't think they had a muff punt last year. Or at least one.
And they gave up punt return yardage last year. What the hell was
that's
that?
what I was going to say. I don't think the weird thing is, like, Georgia didn't muff a punt last year. There wasn't a costly turnover because of someone muffing a punt or something like that. But they gave up punt return yards. They gave up a kick return touchdown. Things like that you don't typically see. I think Peyton Woodring was extremely consistent in the field goal game, but there were other areas which, like, that never happened. So maintain the good things about it. Keep not muffing punts, continue consistency in field goals, but punt return yardages I mean, you got Brett Thorson out for the season because you guys couldn't field or cover on punt. Like, certain things like that. Like, you could even argue that if you don't let Notre Dame return that kick for a touchdown in the second half, you might have a chance at winning that game. Maybe. So special teams really hurt you in certain areas last year where it helped you in others. It was interesting. So those are my three keys to maintaining my predictions.
Love it, Curb. Even though, you had them 10-2, so.
I mean,
I
damn.
I can't wait. They're going to be giving you smoke when they see us in pregame instead of me. So thank you for that.
I stand by what I said.
The amount of cross looks I got at Alabama last year, because I think the first time I had picked against them in probably 4 or 5 years. It had been a long time. The amount of staffers that came out and was like,
dude, well, look, I'm well aware of it. This dates back to the 2023 SEC Championship when Georgia was undefeated going in. Alabama limped there, and I was like, look, guys, I think Alabama wins this game. Everyone hated me for it. I remember that.
Boy, that was the championship game where I was like, hey, last mistake loses this one. Mm-hmm. The last mistake will lose this football game.
Yep.
Fumble inside you 20.
Yep.
Lose by a score. We got nostalgic.
We're pulling it up right now.
Let me see if I can.
Is it a good one?
I might have to go a different.
Okay.
But no, I think that look, the law of averages states you are on historic win streaks against 5 or 6 SEC teams, all the while maintaining a home win streak that is the longest in program history. Something has to give at some point. Is that not wrong? Like last year, you were on a regular season win streak of 3 seasons. At some point, that had to end. I feel like we're at a point now where the home win streak's probably going to end at some point. I think it's this season. Auburn, while they might not be that good, is not the can that you've kicked around the last 4 or 5 years. Florida's getting better. Tennessee's getting better. Like, all of these teams are at least getting better to the point where beating them is not an easy cakewalk that it was for you for the last 5 or 6 years. So that's where I'm going with that.
I think I pulled up the wrong film.
A certain junior college defensive tackle is back at practice.
For Georgia?
No. A JUCO defensive tackle is back practicing with his team. He's at practice right now.
That's a good sign.
Right? That's why I said it.
Because that,
damn,
for the
that dude looks. Tell me that might not be an elite defensive tackle prospect right there.
Oh,
jeez.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the board.
Stand right there for me.
Yes, sir. By the way, these shirts are made readily available. There's a link in the chat today. All right. Certified Ball Knower. If you find yourself to be one of those, go ahead and get you one of these shirts over there on our merch store. We also got Film Guy polos. If you're a golfer, got Cutter and Buck polos. Them things look sharp as hell. We got this in black and in white. Also got our 2% Chooch shirt that you probably shouldn't wear around kids or in public because people are going to ask you random questions about it.
Huddle's tripping.
I think that
Huddle's tripping?
No, I think that this player's huddle just doesn't exist anymore. Something happened. I don't know. I think we've kind of fumbled the bag here. We were going to give you Colby Young. Colby Young does not have anything on YouTube, and his huddle account, if you click on the video, it says media is not available. So don't know what happened there. The only Colby Young can find is a guy that's definitely not Colby Young.
That would be funny to just put up a random guy there. And
I was about to do it until they showed a close-up picture, and it was a light-skinned dude with curly hair.
Not him.
Not Colby
that
Young.
is not Colby Young, no.
All right, well, we've had a good show anyways. Appreciate you guys for being here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button on your way out. What do we got tomorrow?
Nothing tomorrow, but maybe
Nothing
film
tomorrow.
study.
No film studies. We're out of film studies. What's up?
This is the last empty Wednesday.
Last Empty Wednesday. We will be Monday through Thursday starting next week all the way through February. Yeah, we got National Championship at January 20th this year.
Man.
Yeah, buddy.
Do I like that?
And then I would imagine we go 4 days a week all the way throughout the portal because it's going to be a one portal window this year.
That's true.
Right? There's not going to be a December portal. Is that enacted? Did they officially make that change?
There's been so much going on.
Good God. Such professional knowers of college football rules here on this network, myself included.
There's too many rules to know now.
It's sickening. It's tiresome, man. It's tiresome. Appreciate you guys being here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. I love you. Bye.